the November 9.
The stage is set for one more historic moment to unfold.
Each year, 9 players secure their spots in poker history. 9 players, each with their own story.
I look out over that sea of Dennis Phillips faithful, and it's hard not to become a believer.
Each with their own claim to fame.
Garvin slays Goliath.
A deuce for Canada!
9 names that will forever be remembered. Now, 27 players remain in the main event. The goal is to be a member of that exclusive club, to be the next November 9. The fear is to be one of the 18 who won't.
Cobb sees his main event is done.
It's not over yet, guys.
Every hand counts. Every decision matters.
I don't have the feeling you're bluffing.
9 players will join these others in poker lore. The rest will fade into the night. Welcome to the World Series of Poker presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. I'm Lon McCarran alongside Norman Chad. From a tournament that began with nearly 1,000 tables, now just 3 remain. And what a scene it is here. Short on players, but packed with family, friends, and fans.
This is it, Lon. I'm stoked.
2 players have over 20 million in chips. One of them might be the most surprising guy left in the field, amateur Soy Wen, who's seated at table 3. At table 2 are 3 one-time chip leaders, John Racner, William Thorson, who finished 13th in this event in 06, and of course the Mizrachi crew on hand to support Michael the Grinder Mizrachi.
Welcome to the game, guys.
At the featured table sits Norwegian pro Johnny Lawden and 2 other former chip leaders, Matt Affleck and Filippo Candio, and the current chip leader with nearly 25 million, Joseph Cheong.
These 27 have survived a field of 7,000 plus. They've played with each other a bunch. They've gotten to know each other a little. They're almost like family now, a poker family.
How's it going? How are you? I'm doing all right. When did we play? Was that yesterday or 2 days ago?
2 days ago.
2 days ago?
But I forget it. I confused all days.
Yeah, me too. They're all just blurring together.
It's day 8, guys, day 8.
A lot of the big stacks are at the featured table, including Affleck, Condio, Matt Jarvis, Jason Sentai, and chip leader Joseph Cheong. 27 players remain. The chip average just over 8 million. The middle of the pack includes Michael Mizrachi, who has almost 2 million fewer than the average. Friends William Thorson and Johnny Lawden have found themselves amongst the bottom 9, along with bracelet winner Hassan Habib, who is the shortest stack in the room with just under 1.5 million. The blinds at 60,000 and 120,000. Action on Matt Affleck on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Pocket Cam. Ace 10.
Have we seen this Seattle jersey before? Because this is day 8 and he only brought 7 jerseys. Is this a repeat?
With everyone guaranteed over 300 grand, he can afford a whole bunch of jerseys. From under the gun, he raises to 275. David Baker folds.
5 of the top 9 chip stacks are at this feature table.
You survive this table, you have earned it. Folded over to Johnny Lawden, second short stack in the room with pocket 8s.
I wonder what Johnny Lawden is thinking right here.
Yep, he says it's time.
All in.
Almost 1.5 million in the middle now. The chip leader, Joseph Cheong, with 7-4, and he will sit this one out.
How much is it? 1.78.
Jason Sentai folds back to Matt Affleck.
147 total. 147 total.
It is 147 total, about 10% of Affleck's stack.
Hold on, I showed it.
Lawden fortunate just to be here. He has survived a couple of all-ins with chop pots to get here.
I call.
Probably have 2 overcards.
He does have 2 overcards and a Ken Griffey Jr. jersey.
So Johnny Lawden at risk.
That's why I didn't want to call.
He shoved so quick that I thought he'd know.
His pocket 8s against the 2 overs of Matt Affleck. Here's the flop. It is deuce, king, queen. Lawden still good with the 8s. Affleck picked up a Broadway draw.
Lawden doesn't like the look of that flop.
Time to come low cards.
Turn card now. Lawden's fate in the balance. And there is a 10 that pairs Affleck.
And that pushes Johnny Lawden all but out of here. He's going to need an 8 and an 8 only, or he is gone.
The river card is a 7, and that will do it with a pair of 10s. Matt Affleck knocks off Johnny Lawden. Lawden finished 11th in the World Series of Poker Europe main event in 08, makes another deep run here in Las Vegas.
Half of the William Thorson Johnny Lawden buddy act is vanquished.
Affleck over $14.2 million now. Johnny Lawden perhaps thinking $317,000. That's my largest ever live tournament cash.
And just like that, Norman, we are down to 26, an incredible accomplishment for each, considering 7,319 players began. And now every elimination brings more and more pressure as this field inches ever closer to the most important final table in poker.
Lon, poker's November 9 has become like college basketball's Final Four. Just making it there is cause for celebration, an amazing achievement. If you get to the November 9, it is a poker experience like no other with a chance at $9 million. But if you happen to be one of those who don't make it, could you do me a favor and swing by my house to set the DVR? I so do like to hear how I sound when I get home.
Well, Norman, Johnny Lawden, is he heading for your place? No, I don't think so. He's going over to table 2 to check on his buddy William Thorson. The Swedish pro looks down at ace tray. He's wearing the white Cambridge Crew jersey today. He's going to raise it up to $255.
This is a relatively well-dressed table, too, Lon. There are some designer labels out there.
Indeed. Michael Mizrachi will sit this one out.
A well-dressed and young Lon. I have nothing in common with these people.
And there's the youngest left in the field, 21-year-old Mikhail Sipkins. He could still break Joe Cata's record as youngest ever main event champ. Over 2 amateur, Brandon Stephen. Queen Deuce.
He is the card dealer from Kansas.
He's in the big blind. He needs $135,000 to call Thorson. And he will do that.
Brandon Stephen in the mood to gamble from the big blind.
And he'll go up against the seasoned pro, William Thorson. The flop is 6 deuce jack 2 hearts. Stephen with a pair of deuces. Thorson picked up the nut flush draw.
Both got a little something there.
Stephen checks it.
I don't know why anyone would want to play Thorson out of position. He's just scary good.
I check.
Thorson will take the free card.
He's not in the mood to bet his heart draw.
Turn card is a hard. Thorson scores his nut flush. Stephen picked up a queen high flush draw. Stephen checks.
Check.
I don't know why he's got chips in his hand if he's not going to use them.
Thorson now with the flush. William loves to be aggressive. He bets $425,000 as Johnny Lawden looks on.
Stephen with bottom pair and a flush draw. Doesn't seem to want to concede an inch to Thorson.
Stephen with chips in hand, and he check calls.
Oh, if Stephen hits his flush, he's going to think he's very happy, but my guess is he's going to end up being very unhappy.
I think you're right. River card 7 of clubs. Stephen misses his flush. Thorson already had the check mark. Stephen with deuces checks again.
1.6.
That's what we expected from Thorson.
He's got the stone cold nuts. Thorson overbets the pot and hopes the card dealer thinks he's advertising a lemon.
God, I hope you don't have ace-7. I don't think you have anything.
Oh, he has it.
Lawden looks more nervous on the rail than he did at the table.
I don't have much either, but I just don't think you have anything. God, it's sick.
It's just sick, Lon. Unless Stephen puts Thorson on air, he's got to fold.
The amateur folds.
Let's bet.
Thorson now wishing he'd value bet it. He might have gotten a few more chips from Stephen.
A short stack William Thorson needs every chip he can collect.
Huh?
Lawden calling over his buddy.
Säg det. S3
Wow, Lawden just told Thorson he owes him for drinks last night, and Thorson said over my dead body.
Well, one friend walks out the door, his dreams dash. The other soldiers on in his quest for the final table. Back inside the Rio on day 8, where just 3 tables remain. 3 tables and only 26 players over at table 2. Lily Mizrachi in the house and has rejoined her husband's fan club. Action is folded around to John Racner. Racner with ace-king.
Racner has the most chips at this table. He says with a lot of chips, he doesn't like playing really big pots pre-flop.
Known as J Money and Spiky Online, are raised to $275 to Thorson. Thorson, we see a jack of clubs, and that's all we see.
Thorson likes playing big pots anytime, anywhere.
Small.
And he really wants that $275 from Racner, all in for $3.8 million.
3.8 more?
Total, my total stack is 3.8.
A little bit more, almost 4.
I assume he has pocket jacks.
You want exact count or
No, say like 4.
Between 3.9 and 4 million.
That's good. It's
You
good.
can bring it in if you want to.
No, you don't have to bring it in.
That means you're folding, or?
Nah, I won't ask you anymore, that's all.
That sounds as if Thorson wants him to fold. Maybe he doesn't have pocket jacks. It's for 1/3 of Racner's stack.
I fold.
Wow, Racner folds the ace-king to the pressure of Thorson. William takes that small pot, and he had a king.
Did you just look at the second one?
He pushed with king-jack.
I know both.
Okay.
I think I'll be here for 8 days and then look in one card and go all in.
It's possible. With you, yeah, it is.
If anybody here.
Yeah, to answer your question, yes.
Okay.
This isn't the first time William Thorson has made it this deep in the main event. In 2006, the Swede had the final table in sight before his swagger got the best of him.
In 2006, I was feeling so strong that tournament, like unbelievable. I had like 4.6 million, I think, with 13 left. But I decided there was one guy that I can go against him, and it was Jamie Gold.
Every time we look, it seems Jamie Gold's chip stack keeps growing.
Because he was playing every single hand.
The gold rush continues for Jamie Gold.
I raised with 2 jacks, and he looks for 1 second, 1 million.
1 million.
And here is my problem. I don't think I'm just like, I'm all in.
I'm on. I call.
Right away, and the moment I said it, I just regret it so much. And with 2 jacks, yeah, I think that was a really bad play.
And William Thorson is gone in 13th place.
You're always hoping one day I will have the chance again. This year, I really feel I'm playing my very best. And yeah, now I'm here again with an excellent chance. Every day I just feel strong.
What do you like, gamble or not?
I want to get into the final table.
If I raise, will you call?
Big dream would be to go the whole way.
Well, he's made 2 very deep runs in the 2 largest main event fields ever, but if he falls short of the final table again, I assume William Thorson will be devastated.
At table 3, where the inexperienced amateur Kun Soy Win turned a king-high straight with a flush draw against Rob Pisano with kings and 4s. Both checked. River card is another king. Pisano with the check mark with a full house.
When he was in his mid-20s, Win went to LA card rooms once a week, but he stopped playing poker with any regularity 10 years ago.
Soy Win with a monster stack. He started day 8 with over 23 million. And he's going to bet 900,000 of it here.
Pisano claims that when the main event is over, he'll be done with poker for the year, and I think river bets like that one make him wish you were already on the golf course.
Pisano with just a small pocket pair with pause for concern, but does make that call.
Got straight.
Straight's not going to work here, Soy. A full boat for Pisano takes that pot.
Yeah, amateurs can be confusing. Pisano wasn't sure he was good there.
Well, Pisano needed those chips to move above the 8 million chip average.
Soy Win left shaking his head.
Soy Win in a tough spot there on the river with the straight, down to under 21 million. Rob Pisano keeping his day 8 run alive. Where once tables and players packed this Amazon room, now tension fills the air with only 26 hopefuls remaining. Back to the featured table, we're down to 26 because of Affleck's elimination of Johnny Lawton. Action on Italian pro Filippo Candio, 8-6 of hearts.
When he was 21, he saw Max Pescatore on TV and thought, I'd like to be like him. Who wouldn't want to be like Max Pescatore?
The Italian pirate, a raise to 305,000. Joseph Cheong, the chip leader with ace tray.
In his familiar hoodie.
And he folds to Matthew Bucherick in the small blind, 24-year-old from Denver with 1-9. Bucherick, a college graduate, by the way, with pocket 9s.
Finance degree from the University of Tennessee. This is his second main event cash in 3 years.
He calls for 245 more.
Matthew makes the call from the small blind.
No, I raised and he folded.
No, it's 305. You call.
You tell him, dealer.
Oh, I'm sorry. I couldn't even see those chips.
You need another quarter out.
He didn't see Condio's raise.
I'm sorry.
I believe he is sorry, Lon.
And he is heads up now with Condio. Here's the flop, 7, Jack, 8, 2 hearts. Bucherick's pocket 9s are still ahead. Condio with middle pair and a flush draw. Bucherick checks.
I'm not sure.
2.3.
Condio with 450,000.
Back to the Colorado Pro now.
I'm all in.
There's 2.3 million in the middle.
I call.
And a call from Condio.
A quick call from Filippo. Behind, but getting the right pot odds. Bucheric will be at risk.
I got in good.
Bucheric is ahead.
I love a good Condio song.
He might be singing Bucheric's swan song right now. Bucheric's buddies just waiting to cheer. Turn card is a heart. Condio hits his flush, but Bucheric with a higher flush draw.
It's all right. We still got hearts.
Bucheric keeping a stiff upper lip. Filippo still humming a tune.
They want a heart.
Bucheric has to have a heart.
The river card is a club.
Yes.
Condio's flush knocks out Matthew Bucheric. Bucheric goes out in 26th place. He'll take home over $317,000.
I'm sorry, because if you see my race, you
No, it's no,
buddy,
it's no problem. It's no problem.
Good luck.
Wow, Filippo telling Matthew if he had pushed pre-flop, he would have been gone. One mistake, and Bucheric hits the rail, but with class.
Straight up.
You might want to color some of that up, huh?
It's so sick hand. If he see my raise on pre-flop, he push me and
he
fold.
shoves and he folds all day. He's going to be frustrated
so
with
sick.
that. Yeah, it's really
26 left, no? He's so sick.
And just like that, the main event is down to 25. There's another top pro who won his first bracelet this year. The Grinder could tie Frank Casella as Player of the Year if Grinder wins the main event. Casella watching right now as the Grinder's in a hand with Mads Vissing from Denmark, both with a pair of jacks. Vissing has the better kicker, the turn card on its way. It's a 4 of diamonds, no help to Mizrachi.
This is a battle of the blinds. Vissing, a 28-year-old poker pro and student.
Vissing, chips in hand. He bets 225 with the best hand.
Grinder with maybe the prettiest chip towers on the table.
Grinder not going anywhere. He makes the call. Vissing ahead, going to the river. River card is an 8, and that's jacks up and the check mark for the Grinder.
You know, Lon, if I were playing Grinder in War and he was down to 1 card, this year I would like his chances.
Exactly. Vissing thinks he's got the best hand, bets 440,000.
Well, Grinder's got to figure his 2 pair are good in this spot.
Grinder's brothers sweating every decision Michael makes.
Yeah, when you're playing Grinder, it seems like you're playing against 3 or 4 Mizrachis at once.
He says raise. 990,000. How can Vissing not call that?
Vissing might sense he's beat, but you're right, Lon. He's getting 5 to 1 on a call here.
Can he get away from it?
I call. Jacks up. On 2 pair.
Yep. Jacks up is good.
Mizrachi Palooza continues.
And that's good news for all the Mizrachis.
And Grinder pauses for a refreshment, waiting for his newfound winnings to come over. Now, Grinder now can build some additions onto his chip complex.
With that pot, Michael over 8.5 million. He's just below the chip average in the room. Let's take a look at our chip count. Brought to you by PokerStars.net. Joseph Cheong and Soy Wen continue to lead the field. Mads Vissing is now dropped to the second short stack. Hassan Habib still the shortest stack in the room, and he is on the move. He's joining the featured table once again.
Ronnie, what's up, bro? Hey, what's up, man?
Hassan Habib.
Ronnie Barda, who is also one of the short stacks, met Habib on day 5. The two have been friendly since.
Yeah, all the big chips are on this table, huh? Wow, that's crazy.
It's not going to be mad action, you know?
Remember, Barda has promised to moonwalk naked around the Rio if he makes it to the final table.
He'll sit this hand out. Action over to Habib. And just when you think you got him trained on the hole card cams, he misses.
All in.
Habib all in for his short stack, just over 1.1 million.
Habib, the only player remaining over the age of 40. He's 48.
Joseph Cheong, the biggest stack with ace-5. And he'll fold. Affleck now. Ace-9 suited.
Very playable.
But he'll fold that to Matt Jarvis, who started the day with over 13 million with king-queen off.
He's a semi-pro, not certain if he's going to make poker a career.
I call.
And he does make the call to put Habib at risk. Baker lays down his small blind. Condio folds his big.
You got a pair?
Thanks, sir.
Okay,
Hassan finally shows his pocket fours. He's ahead, but will have to dodge a lot of danger.
Yes, come on.
Hold, baby, hold.
Habib's wife, Nancy, leading the cheering section.
Hold.
Hassan has had no chips forever. He's been crawling through the sewer pipes searching for daylight here at the main event.
Jarvis trying to knock out one of the 4 remaining bracelet winners in the main event.
You know I'm rooting for you, kid.
Huh? I know, bro.
And Ronnie Barta comes over to provide Habib some spiritual support.
All right, here we go with Habib at risk. It is deuce 6, jack 2 hearts. Habib still good with the pocket fours.
Hassan now a 2-1 favorite.
I'll take the king of hearts.
We have one request with a smile for the king of hearts.
Turn card. 7 of spades. Habib 1 card from a double up.
Jarvis looking for a king or a queen and knock out Habib.
This little face would be nice.
The river card is a 5 of spades. And the pocket fours bring Habib life and 2.5 million chips.
Hassan Habib has crawled up to 21 big blinds now.
Hassan climbed into the lion's den of monster stacks at this featured table with his smallest stack and had an immediate impact. With his main event final table experience and poker skills, he is a player who can do some damage.
Plus, he's the only guy even close to my age. Go Hassan!
All right, let's get over to table 2. John Dolan trying to double up with king, queen of hearts. He re-raised all in for about $1.5 million pre-flop. Scott Clements called the all in with 10-9 of clubs.
Clements, the only multiple bracelet winner left in the field.
All right, here we go. Dolan at risk. Queen 8 ace. A good flop for Dolan. He has middle pair with a nut flush draw. Clements picked up a gut shot straight draw.
Clements was behind. He falls further behind.
Turn card now is a jack, and Clements turns his straight, and now it's Dolan who needs a Hail Mary pass.
Scott Clements now poised for the knockout. John Dolan's gonna need a 10 to make Broadway or any heart, or he is wamboozled.
The river card is a heart! Wow, a saving flush on the river for John Dolan.
Oh, one bad turn leads to a very good river for John Dolan.
So Scott Clements takes that hit. John Dolan still below the chip average, but that's secondary for him right now. He's still alive in the main event. Now it's time for Deal Me In, brought to you by FullTiltPoker.net. Mike the Mouth Matiso loves to talk at the poker table, so when it's another player making a speech, it really makes him think, like on day 1 of the main event in 2009.
I decided to limp with the jack, queen of spades, and like 5 of us took the flop. The flop came down 9-6-3 of spades, and I was like, wow.
Matiso hits the queen high flush. Johnson with a nut flush draw.
Johnson bets out, and I raise it to 2,200.
The mouth pounces.
The blinds folded, and then he went ahead and moved all in.
I'm all in.
All in? With a speech.
I had to double up through Mike Matisow, or I get eliminated by Mike.
There's a written rule in poker. When they make a speech, they got it.
And I got a speech, too.
I know that this guy here is never gonna play back at me without the absolute joint, because this guy has played one hand.
All right, buddy, take it.
Wow, what a difficult laydown. But it was the wrong laydown here.
You know, even when I saw it on TV, I was like, wow, he really only had the ace. But you know what? On day 1, you don't need to win the big pot. I got out of the day with 41,000 in chips, so I was really, really, really happy with my fold there.
Here on day 8, making it through this day means making the final table and keeping alive your dreams of wearing that gold bracelet. It's time now for the Jack Links Beef Jerky wildcard hand.
I'm thinking of making the move to blackjack with my wildcard skills.
Hassan Habib found the whole card cam. Queen 9, he folds.
See, in blackjack, if you can figure out what the dealer has lined, you can beat that game.
Affleck now with 8-6 of hearts.
Matt says tournaments are his bread and butter, and the main event is his bread basket. 2 straight deep runs.
He raises to 270,000, and Matt Jarvis with the Western Canadian Jack Links wildcard hand.
I can never put anyone wearing sunglasses that ridiculous on a real hand.
From the cutoff position, he makes the call.
Well, I'll put Jarvis on one of those get-you-in-trouble hands, king-queen.
Rest of the table folds, so heads up, Jarvis with the wildcard hand against Affleck. The flop, 10, king 7. Matt Affleck with a gut shot, needs a 9 for a straight.
Matt Jarvis has had a cough and a cold throughout the main event, but that doesn't excuse the ridiculous shades.
Affleck with the soft check.
Oh, that's the best checking motion in poker. Let's see if Jarvis has kings.
Jarvis with a check.
I think he's slow playing kings.
And another king on the turn.
Frankly, Lon, the shades bother me so much, I'll pay him $50 to take them off.
Affleck now.
Oh, here comes my boy.
We've seen him bet with nothing before. He makes it 450.
Affleck hoping that ends matters, but Jarvis might have a big hand.
Let's see what he does with his allegedly big hand.
Jarvis has trip kings and one fine-looking lady friend.
That's his sister Danielle.
I'm already 0 for 1 on this hand.
Jarvis made the call. The river card is an 8 of spades. Affleck pairs his 8.
See, with trip kings, I think Jarvis is trying to use Affleck's aggression against him. He expects him to bet.
Most people expect Affleck to bet.
Don't do it, buddy.
He does, 650.
I can't protect him from where I'm sitting.
Jarvis has matched Affleck step for step in this hand.
Well, now Jarvis has to bring down the hammer on my boy. I think the sunglasses slow him down in figuring out the amount of the raise he should make.
Jarvis has ace-jack, a busted straight draw.
That was it?
Yeah, and he folds the Jack Link's beef jerky wildcard hand.
My bad. Nice hand, Matt Affleck. Nice sister, Matt Jarvis.
Jarvis gives up a small portion of his stack to Affleck.
I'll just be right on another day.
Good luck with that. So Affleck picks up some more chips as he continues his chase of the final table after a disappointing 80th place finish in last year's main event. All right, let's get back over to table 2. It is Sweden versus Denmark. William Thorsen caught bottom pair on a 6-tray 10 flop. He checked. Danish poker pro Mads Vissing has top pair. Action is on him.
Thorsen called pre-flop from the small blind and Vissing checked his option.
Vissing bets $175,000 with the top pair. Thorsen now.
I'm all in.
What?
All in with bottom pair. And that would put Vissing all in.
I call.
Vissing makes the call for his last $1.5 million and is in good shape to double up.
Thorsen clearly thought pushing Vissing all in would push him out of the hand. Vissing a 3-1 favorite and at risk.
I have a good feeling. I know.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a club or a jack on the turn, I think.
Vissing has his own feeling about William Thorsen right now.
So Thorsen trying to come from behind. Turn card and Thorsen was right, a jack. What a killer card for Vissing.
Poker is a preposterous pursuit, Lon. No one should play it. Human lives don't deserve this much agony. Mads Vissing, you have my deepest condolences.
Thorsen with jacks up.
Vissing needs a 10 and a 10 only or he is out of here.
And now the river card, it's an 8.
Wow.
2 pair, not enough to avoid elimination for Mads Vissing. He goes out in 25th place.
Vissing takes it well and off he goes with a main event ending bad beat.
Vissing ships all his chips to a very needy William Thorsen.
So who's the grinder today? Who is the grinder today?
At the main event, everyone needs a little grinder in them. Back inside the Rio where Ronnie Barda is in trouble with ace-king of hearts going to the flop against Filippo Condio and his pocket aces.
Condio sings softly and Barda hoping for a jazzy flop.
All right, now here we go to the flop. Jack deuce 4, nothing there for Barda. Barda looking for some immediate help.
Filippo in great shape for the knockout.
The turn card is another jack. That ends the drama. Ronnie Barda drawing dead. Out of the main event in 24th place.
No moonwalk naked around the Rio. I think we could have sold tickets for that.
Condio picks up an additional $2 million plus. Barda goes out with his first World Series cash.
It was good. It was a good run. Hopefully I'll be back here next year. See you guys later. Good luck to everyone.
Well, Condio is one player who definitely believes in luck. That lucky striped sweater has been with him the entire way. Hey, if it ain't broke, why fix it?
I'm a little bit superstitious, but when I pass the day 1, I repeat all days the same thing. Wake up at 11, 11:20, coffee espresso, very short, with 1 sugar, no stick, please. No stick. 11:30, I take a taxi, I come to Rio, I sing the song. Baciami ancora. It's stupid superstition, but maybe this thing relax me. At 12, start to play, and I repeat this 8 times. Baciami ancora. During the break, I talk with all my friends. I sing the song. And I try stay calm and I think it's my moment.
Yes!
I can't lose now.
Yes, sir!
I'm ready.
Yes, sir! Yes, sir!
He's ready to win, and I'm ready to sing, Lon. Maybe it'll bring me good luck.
Oh, no.
Figaro, Figaro, Figaro.
Filippo Candio now 6th in chips with nearly 14 million, while Joseph Cheong and Soy Wen are still sitting pretty atop the leaderboard with over 20 million each. With 23 players left, the chip average about 9.5 million. Let's get over to table 3. Jonathan Duhamel with an open-ended straight draw. Check the flop of Trey 7 deuce. Rob Pisano with ace king. Bet 1.65 million. Action is on Duhamel.
Duhamel had made a big 3-bet from the small blind pre-flop, and Pisano called. Neither one with a hand right now, and neither one looks like he wants to give.
And it's anybody's pot, as you see by the percentages, as Duhamel makes the call.
Pisano's got to be worried about that call.
And these two started the hand with almost even stacks. Duhamel slightly covered by Pisano. Turn card now is an ace, and Duhamel hits his wheel. Pisano with top pair, top kicker.
Have I mentioned that poker is a preposterous pursuit? What a card! Top pair, top kicker for Pisano, nut straight for Duhamel.
Duhamel reaching for some of his stack. That's almost 1.9 million.
I thought Duhamel might check there and give Pisano a chance to bet at it.
All in. All in, called.
Pisano raised Duhamel all in. Jonathan called immediately. And that's an instant double up for the Canadian pro to almost 21 million.
You can actually hear his heart breaking there, Lon.
How does he have that hand?
Duhamel's now got a pile of chips, and Pisano has virtually no chips.
Rob Pisano cannot believe what just happened to him. Jonathan Duhamel now 2nd in chips. Pisano, the man who crushed Johnny Chan's main event hopes this year, now crushed himself down to 320,000. Making it to the November 9 is the dream. While making it this far and falling short of the final table,
Give me my money!
Is the ultimate nightmare. Rob Pisano looks like he may join those who have fallen short all in pre-flop. He's got an up and down straight draw. Pascal Lafrancois with queens up.
Jonathan Duhamel had just crippled Rob Pisano.
Pisano's cheering section hoping he catches something on the river.
8 from hell on the river. Let's go. An 8 or a king.
Only an 8 or a king keeps Pisano around.
The river card is a jack, and that will do it. Rob Pisano's strong main event run ends in 23rd place.
Pisano was struck by the Duhamel lightning bolt, and bang, it's all over right after that.
Lafrancois absorbs the last of Pisano's chips, while Pisano, the New York native and Las Vegas resident, takes the walk.
That's a long and painful walk.
22 players remain. Chip average nearly 10 million. A new chip has been introduced to the game, the almond chip, worth $250,000. The big stacks at this feature table are growing. Chip leader Joseph Cheong has quietly added nearly 1.7 million to his stack. Filippo Candio has vocally added over 3.5 million to his, and Jason Sentai has picked up nearly 3 million today. Sentai on the Jack Link's beef jerky pocket cam looks down at Jack 4 offsuit.
The Minneapolis pro says Minnesota is a great place to live 5 months a year.
It's more expensive to play now. The blind's up to 80 and 160. A raise to 380,000 from Sentai.
Jason says he likes to play a lot of hands, and sometimes he has a maniacal image.
Matt Jarvis in the big blind with ace 6 off.
Jarvis started playing poker 6 years ago when he was working for a sales company. They would play in the office after the workday was over.
Jarvis thinking maybe Sentai was on a button steal with a re-raise here to 1.1 million.
What you playing?
Started that with a 111 million.
Speaking of his maniacal image, Sentai told us he will 4-bet it bluffing.
Sentai has Jarvis covered by about 5 million. And Sentai is gonna 4-bet it, Norman, like you said, 2.7 million and change.
And he's bluffing. You can't trust summa cum laude graduates from the University of North Dakota. And I don't see how Jarvis could continue with ace 6 off.
I'm all in.
I guess he can.
Jarvis re-raises all in.
These are poker minds that operate at a different level, Lon.
He puts his tournament life in the hands of the bigger stack Sentai.
Well, that sizing was a mistake. That was supposed to be 2-7. I'm folding.
Sentai relents gracefully.
Matt Jarvis will take that big pot pre-flop.
Nice hand.
And playfully wipes his brow with a 6 of diamonds. That got the attention of his sister.
How can I get the attention of his sister, Lauren?
Down boy.
Nice. Show the other one.
Jarvis is going to play it coy with the other card.
I didn't try to make it 2-7 for what it's worth.
Jarvis picks up over 3 million chips from Sentai in that hand. Matt's previous biggest payday in a live tournament was $20,000. He's guaranteed over $300,000 here in the main event. Action over at table 2. The grinder wannabe William Thorson is sitting this one out. The real grinder is out of his seat to watch the hand with his brothers as John Racner flopped a set of aces and checked it to Brandon Stephen with what is now an almost worthless pair of kings.
Racner raised pre-flop and then Stephen 3-bet it from the hijack.
They check it to the turn. It is a Jack. Racner gets the check mark with his 3 aces.
It's hard to believe Racner had less than 15 big blinds left when we were on the money bubble. It's really gone all his way since then.
Racner bets $725,000. Stephen now with his pocket kings, hoping the ace, of course, missed Racner. He makes the call.
Yeah, Stephen doesn't love it, but he figures he has the best hand if Racner doesn't have an ace. Of course, Racner has lots of aces.
River card is another 8. Racner improves to aces full. Stephen to kings up, which we know are useless.
Well, John Racner was comfortable on the turn. I assume he is very comfortable with aces full.
Very comfortable, putting in $1.9 million. So a big decision for Brandon Stephen. Brandon's brothers on the right, Racner's buddies on the left.
Good turn, Jack. Good turn for you.
Stephen trying to get something out of Racner. I don't think he could get even a piece of bubble gum out of Racner.
Can he get away from pocket kings?
Stephen wants to call, and he's getting better than 2.5 to 1 on a call.
You got a coin I can borrow?
A what?
Coin I can borrow?
Coin?
It's 50-50, man.
You actually want me to give you a coin?
I need to flip it. You got one?
Lily Mizrachi brings a coin.
Mizrachi's not going to flip a coin for Stephen. Grinder is Racner's friend.
Brandon Stephen with chips in hand.
Brandon Stephen tormented by this decision.
I think you turned to Jack. I'm going to lay down a big hand to you.
That's a nice laydown.
Stephen says he's going to fold.
Lay down big hand.
The big hand is not big enough, and Racner will win that pot.
The amateur not convinced he made the right decision.
Nice hand, bud. What'd you have?
You have kings?
Good guess by Racner, and Brandon Stephen got off cheaply. Back at the Rio, action underway at the featured table after Jason Sentai raised with pocket nines. Filippo Candio re-raised and showed only a king to the camera.
You have me covered, right? I have like 12-5.
The Italian is silent, not a note to be heard.
A couple of the big stacks at this featured table bumping in the night. Jason Sentai makes the call and will go heads up with the Italian pro.
So it's the man who sings in a band against the man who sings to himself.
And the king against the pocket nines. Here's the flop, and it is king 5-4. Candio with a pair of kings at least. Sentai's pocket nines are behind, but we don't know exactly how much they're behind. Candio checks.
Remember, I thought Matt Jarvis was checking kings during the wild card hand, but he didn't have kings.
Turn card, another king. Candio with at least 3 kings. Sentai with a heart flush draw.
Remember, I thought Jarvis had trip kings on the turn, but he didn't have any kings. I wish this were the Jack Link's beef jerky wild card hand.
Candio bets $1.5 million.
Like many good players, Candio is effective because he is aggressive with or without a hand.
Sentai makes that call. Sentai likes his kings and nines. River card is a deuce of spades. Candio seems content. Sentai missed his flush.
We saw Candio earlier in the main event, bet a lot with very little. It's hard to figure out when he's really holding.
Well, he's got 3 kings at least, and he does bet a lot, over $3.1 million.
Sentai getting almost 3 to 1 on a call, and if he doesn't think Filippo has a king, his pocket nines might be good.
Nice hand.
Sentai gives it up. Candio didn't even need the other card.
One card poker. It can work.
Filippo picks off Sentai for a couple of million as Jason looks to right his ship.
Well, that wasn't a fun couple hands.
Sentai good-natured about giving away chips.
Filippo takes him into his stack. He is now 4th in chips with over $17 million. A rough patch for Sentai, but he is still in the top 9 and still over the chip average, which right now is just shy of 10 million. Jonathan Duhamel and Joseph Cheong, the only players over 20 million. Over to table 3, Soy Win, who is third in chips right now, flopped a flush draw against Dewey Lay, who scored trip kings, both checked. Turn card now is a 6 of spades. Win missed his draw, paired his 6, Lay's still ahead.
Win's been behind every step of the way. Sometimes the amateur seems a little overmatched by the pros, but he's been hanging tough.
He checks.
1.4.
Dewey Lay bets it. 1.4 million.
Lay putting more pressure on Win's flush draw. Hello, ladies.
Dewey Lay's cheering section looking on nervously. Soy Win told us he doesn't know what implied odds are.
Well, if he makes his flush and thinks Dewey Lay would pay him off on the river, whether he knows it or not, Soy's got the correct implied odds here to make the call.
He needs 1.4, and that's what he calls with.
Actually, I just think he's happy he paired his 6.
Maybe so. All right, the river card now with Dewey Lay way ahead. And it's another 6! Wow, Soy hit a full house, but it's second best to Lay's full boat.
Poker is a preposterous pursuit, Lon. Win, hoping for a flush, goes runner, full house, and now he's in deep trouble.
I'm all in. Call.
Lay was just waiting to pounce with the call and gets maximum value with his bigger boat.
Boy, that was fast, that was brutal, and a big pot for Dewey Lay.
And that's good news for Dewey and his entourage. Dewey Lay over 11 million chips now. Soy Win drops to about 14 million. No stack is immune from serious damage at this point of the main event. Back over to table 2, where Michael Mizrachi has been pretty quiet as a bystander to most of the action so far today. Over to John Dolan. Dolan looks down at pocket 7s.
On day 1, Dolan's starting stack of 30,000 went down to 18,000 very early. He took a long break, then he came back and ended the day with 45,000 chips.
With his pocket pair, he's going to raise it up to 375,000. Racner with 2 kings.
Like Dolan from Florida, so is Grinder. 3 Florida guys at this table. Wow.
He makes just a call with his kings. Brandon Steven on the button. Ace 5 suited.
Steven looks like he's been to Florida.
Brandon makes the call. Now, the Swede, William Thorson, in the big blind. 10 of diamonds, jack of diamonds.
How much?
375.
Let's see, we've got a hoodie, a backwards baseball cap, and a nice haircut.
Small in.
He's all in for over 5 million.
How much is it, roughly?
Got you covered.
Well, I know, but it does matter. Because I need to know how much he's risking in general. Roughly 5 or
4.660 more.
And Thorson might be thinking, wait a minute, didn't I learn my lesson going all in 2006, the final day before the final table?
All in.
Dolan folded, Racner re-raised all in.
Well, I'm all out.
And Steven will lay down his suited ace. And Thorson will be at risk against Racner's kings with his jack 10.
Thorson had hoped to clear out the playing field with his squeeze play. Instead, he's heads up against a huge hand that has him crushed.
Thorson, a 4-1 dog and at risk.
It's not a bad play by William. Most of the time he'll take it.
Thorson had 30 big blinds left. He was 13th here in 2006, now staring at a 22nd place finish unless he gets lucky.
All right, now the flop. It is deuce, 6 ace, 2 diamonds. Thorson with a flush draw brings him some hope. Racner's kings keep him ahead. Racner poised for a big knockout.
Black 2.
His buddy's calling for a black 2.
Black 2.
William Thorson looks like a man awaiting execution.
Turn card is a black 2. The deuce of spades actually takes an out away from Thorson.
5 of clubs.
Now they're calling for a 5 of clubs.
And Racner trying to finish off Thorson here. Thorson needs a diamond that isn't a deuce, or his main event is done.
It is the 5 of clubs. Racner's friends called it.
Mark, hey, I heard you. I heard
and
your
with
voice,
kings
baby.
up, Racner eliminates William Thorson from the main event.
Devastatingly close to the final table again. Thorson squeeze play, squeezes him out.
That's sick. I had such a feeling you really did it because you think I will do it. Then he calls as well, so sick.
Yeah.
Now suddenly
I knew you two were capable of it.
The pot is so sick.
Racner owns the last of Thorson's chips as William says his farewells.
Good game, Will.
John Racner now third in chips with 17 million. The field is down to 21. The 39,000 square feet inside the Amazon room now holds just 3 tables as the cream of the crop has risen with only 21 players remaining.
See you in November.
It's a young group chasing this world championship and a diverse group. We have some bracelet winners, some pros and amateurs alike. Pascal Lafrancois won a $1,500 no-limit event this year. He's holding court at table 3 with former chip leader amateur Kun Soy Wen. Michael Mizrachi took down the Poker Players Championship.
You're wearing that bracelet. That's a good-looking bracelet, man.
There's a better-looking one out there.
He remains at table 2 with a chance to claim a share of the Player of the Year title. At the featured table, Matt Affleck is continuing his impressive follow-up to last year's 80th place finish, while Joseph Cheong is looking to add to the biggest chip stack in the room. Only 9 will advance to the final table. Let's take a look at who is in the best position to do so as of now. The top stacks have an international flair with 3 Canadians, Jonathan Duhamel, Lafrancois, and Matt Jarvis, as well as Italian Filippo Candio. They're all well above the chip average, which is almost $10.5 million.
And there is the chip leader, Joseph Cheong, who's at the featured table along with several other big stacks. Filippo Candio is currently in 5th place. Matt Jarvis is in 7th. And there is my honorary godson, Matt Affleck, who is in 8th.
This has got to be like the quietest feature table ever.
Yeah, what's going on? We should start talking more. I think it's my fault because I lost a few hands, and I'm normally the one talking so much. So now I'm probably just all pouty or something.
Jason Sentai, usually a friendly table presence.
It's gotten too serious.
Jason, despite a couple of recent setbacks, is in 9th place, and that is the #1 goal when this day 8 is done. Be in the top 9, the November 9. All right, action on Filippo Candio, the 5th biggest stack. On the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Pocket Cam, 10-4 off.
Candio usually quite outgoing. He looks too serious.
He's not going to play this hand. Habib with a tray and an ace. And he'll fold. Joseph Cheong lays it down to Jason Sentai on the button with Queen 5 of spades.
He plays no-limit hold'em in pot-limit Omaha cash games for a living online.
He's going to raise it up to 380. Matt Affleck now with a couple of 10s.
He lost his glasses after day 7 of the main event, never found them, doesn't need them.
Affleck with a re-raise to 1.2 million.
I wish Matt Jarvis had lost his glasses too.
Pocket jacks.
He used to caddy for his father who played on the PGA Senior Tour.
He's still wondering what his first World Series cash will amount to, and he makes the call for just over $1 million more. So back to Sentai now. The original raiser. And Jason will lay it down.
It's like 14-ish.
Gentlemen, we have 2 players.
These 2 guys starting the hand with almost identical stacks. The flop 4-9 Queen. Jarvis still best with his jacks. Affleck's pocket 10s coming up way short.
Affleck more mature than he was a year ago, but he still plays a lot of hands and makes a lot of plays.
Puts a lot of pressure on his opponents. That's a bet of 1.6 million.
Jarvis usually plays quite deliberately. He says when he rushes things, he plays poorly.
With the better hand, he makes the call. That queen may worry both of them, though. All right, turn card is a jack. Jarvis picks up a set of jacks. Affleck now with an up and down straight draw.
Affleck might put Jarvis on a heart draw, and it looks like he wants to bet his pocket 10s again.
Matt Jarvis probably very happy to see chips going in the pot from Matt Affleck. 2.7 million.
I really do think the sunglasses slow down the math Jarvis does in his head. Takes his time.
Jarvis. Wow, that's a raise to 6.2 million with the 3 jacks.
Well, I hope my boy, Matt Affleck, is reconsidering the strength of Jarvis's hand.
Jarvis with a strong group of supporters, including his sister Danielle in the blue shirt, and next to her, his girlfriend Juliana.
3.5 more.
It's nothing more if you fold, buddy.
Oh, Matt's not folding. He makes that call for 3.5 million.
Maybe my guy does need his glasses back.
Oh, boy.
Big pot building here.
Over 18.5 million. All right, so these 2 see a river card. A deuce of clubs. Jarvis now with the check mark. Affleck left only with pocket 10s, and he checks.
I doubt the 3rd club hitting the board worries Matt Jarvis much. I've got to believe Jarvis knows he has the best hand.
With the set of jacks, Jarvis considering his next move.
All in.
All in declared.
Well, that all in by Jarvis actually would put Matt Affleck all in.
Affleck, barely the shorter of the two stacks.
Matt Jarvis is still pushing his chips in. I hope Affleck's not calling. I told his mom I'd look out for him, and if he missteps here, he'll be walking out of the main event.
What a big moment for Affleck. This is for his tournament. And he lays it down to Jarvis. That was a good laydown, Norman, but it was costly for Affleck.
You're right, Affleck lost 2/3 of his stack there. Big blow. He still does have nearly 30 big blinds left.
And those chips go over to Matt Jarvis, and that puts him over $23 million here on day 8. Affleck took a real chance calling on the turn and eats a $9 million chip loss. He saved himself from total ruin here on day 8, but he must now rebuild to be one of the vaunted 9 come November.
Norman, 8 long days of poker have left the remaining players physically exhausted, mentally drained, and all longing for the finish line. Lucky for them, the main event marathon is nearing its end.
Lon, forget the players. I'm exhausted, but I have enough strength left for one more pep talk. That's right, Matt Affleck. I'm talking to you. I felt for you when things went wrong last year, but forget the past and keep running. I know you just took a big hit, but forget the past and keep running. Listen here, little buddy. Put your head down, build your stack up, and make me proud. Plus, I did make that promise to your mother, and Matt, she kind of scares me.
Well, that was not a total Matt Affleck blow-up, but he may have lit the fuse. He's left with less than half the chip average and a lot of makeup work to do. It does take a little magic to make it through day 8, and over by table 2, professional magician Donnie Mizrachi showing off his skills to Frank Casella.
I used to do that same trick when I was working at the CIA.
Of course, both have an interest in the goings-on of Donnie's brother Michael. The grinder can tie Casella for Player of the Year honors with a main event championship. Another player with a chance to make history here is Mikhail Sipkins. He could break Joe Cata's record as the youngest ever main event champion. He's sitting here with Redmond Lee, a 24-year-old London poker pro with pocket 4s.
He was 441st at the 07 main event.
I'm all in.
He's all in for almost $2.5 million. So Redmond Lee putting his tournament on the line. Now over to the grinder. King Jack.
Rags to me.
He does fold to Mikhail Sipkins on the button with 2 10s.
If Sipkins wins the main event, he would beat Joe Cata's youngest ever mark by 4.5 months.
I call.
The 21-year-old from the Netherlands makes the call to put Lee at risk. Action on John Racner. He folds.
You'll pay? Yeah.
I need
Tens.
both hands, please.
Yep, the 10s dominating Redmond Lee's 4s. Mikhail's buddy and Redmond's girlfriend wish each other luck.
You know, I think we saw Lee kissing her a couple of days ago here. I believe that kind of thing should be banned from the main event.
All right, here we go. Redmond Lee at risk.
One time.
He's using his one time right here. You get a one time, only one time. You may as well use it in an all-in when you're behind on day 8 of the main event.
2 of the young guns of this main event. And now here's the flop. 7-6 Jack. Sipkins still ahead with the 10s. Lee got no help.
Lee looking for a 4 or a runner-runner straight or runner-runner diamonds. And if he hits any of that, no kissing.
All right, turn card. Ace of clubs. Sipkins still way ahead.
Redmond Lee looking for a 4 and a 4 only, or he is out of here.
The river card is a queen, and that will do it. Pocket 10s for Sipkins. Send Redmond Lee back to London in 21st place.
Second main event cash in 4 years, and this is a healthy one.
Over $317,000 for Redmond Lee.
No.
Well, that cash sure trumps his $29,000 cash back in 07. Sipkins picks up an extra couple million chips. We're down to 20. Redmond Lee's departure moves everyone a step closer to the November 9. Back inside the Rio, where only 20 players remain in this 2010 main event, each fighting for a seat at the final table. Let's take a look at all of the chip counts. Joseph Cheong still on top. Matthew Jarvis has moved up to second place. John Racner with $21 million is fourth. Dewey Lay in ninth place. Michael Mizrachi is still grinding in 14th place with $5.9 million. Matt Affleck, one of the short stacks, he has been chopped down to $4.6 million, less than half the chip average.
Come on, Matt. I just got another text from your mom.
He's got to get some chips back. As for the new man in second place, Matt Jarvis, well, this game of poker apparently suits him quite well. He may have finally discovered his true calling.
I'm 25 years old, currently not working.
The last job I had was maybe like 4 years ago. I worked in a lumber mill. I had like 12-hour graveyard shifts. It was the worst ever. But I had a whole bunch of different ones. When I was super young, I used to go dig golf balls out of the ditches and clean them up and sell them back to the golfers. I worked as a mechanic's assistant on small like Cessna planes. I used to sell knives. I was a dishwasher. I worked at a golf course cleaning golf carts. I worked as a cashier at one point. I worked at a cafe. Just anything I could do to make a little bit of money. I really realized that I didn't much like working for other people. I kind of liked working for myself. And ultimately in poker, you're working for yourself. It just kind of turned into me going to casinos and started playing online. Just kind of slowly got to a point where I was doing okay at it.
I like it.
I'm just happy to be able to do what I'm doing now. This is my first World Series event to actually cash in. It's pretty lucky. I finally did it, and it's way bigger than anything I've ever dreamed of, and it potentially can be a lot more.
Jarvis would fall asleep sometimes while working at the lumber mill. The business shut down a few months after he left. Maybe it closed because everyone working there was falling asleep.
Action here at this feature table. Chip leader Joseph Cheong with Queen Jack.
Doubt Cheong ever worked in a lumber mill.
He folds. Jason Sentai.
He was an electrical engineer.
He lays it down. Affleck.
He was a cashier.
Looks down at pocket aces in the nick of time.
Pocket aces. Now we're running in the right direction. You go, Matt.
Matt with a raise to 375, a smallish raise, not even 2.5 times the big blind. Matt Jarvis now on the button with ace-king.
He actually was a pretty good knife salesman. He sold $100,000 worth of high-end kitchen cutlery.
A re-raise to $1,050,000.
If Jarvis works on commission, I don't like his income prospects on this hand.
The blinds fold. Back to Affleck.
All in.
An all in and snap call. It'll be Affleck's aces way ahead of Jarvis's ace-king.
Ace-king running into those aces, Lon, and Matt Affleck in great position to get some chips back.
His first time I've been all in all tournament.
His first all in, and if he gets unlucky, he will be all out.
Jarvis trying to finish the job he started earlier on Matt Affleck.
Where did his sister go?
Jarvis's supporters would love to see a come from behind win. All right, Affleck at risk. Here is the flop. And there's an ace. That's a sight for sore eyes for Matt Affleck.
That's all right, buddy. You can show a little emotion.
Good start.
Good start.
Red, please.
Affleck doesn't want to see runner flush for Jarvis.
Turn card. A tray of spades ends the hand. Jarvis drawing dead. Affleck doubles up.
My Matt gets some chips back from the other Matt. He still owes you $3 or $4 million, though.
He does. Affleck up to $9.5 million now. Wonders what if he hadn't given away $9 million to Jarvis earlier. Jarvis still left with more than $18 million. Let's go to table 3. A short stack Patrick Skander re-raised all in before the flop for his last $845,000. Soy Win called, as did Pascal Lefrancois.
3 amateurs going toe-to-toe. To-toe.
The flop now with Skander at risk is Queen 9-10, 2 diamonds. Soy Win first to act. And he's going to bet it. $1.3 million. Lefrancois folds.
You got any of that?
Queen. Soy wins his top pair, and he's got a straight draw. Skander with ace-7 of hearts.
I need an ace.
Skander's best hope is an ace.
Maybe I said jack first. I definitely don't want to jack. Anybody folded aces? Don't tell me.
Turn card, another 10. Queen's up now for Soy Win.
Patrick Skander down to a 3-outer.
Diamonds, I think.
He needs an ace.
It's a king on the river. Soy Win knocks out Patrick Skander.
No heads up this year.
Skander's first trip to the main event is a profitable one. He wins over $317,000.
Good payday for the Northern California business owner.
And another amateur, as you mentioned, Norman. Soy Win pads his stack a bit. We are now 1 knockout away from being down to the last 2 tables at the main event. Welcome back inside the Rio, where all the action in the Amazon room has moved to one corner, where only 19 players on 3 tables remain. Here at table 2, Mikhail Sipkins looks down at ace-7 off.
He used to play chess, transitioned to poker. You know, Lon, both games have kings and queens.
Yeah, you're right about that, Norman, but each side only has 1 king and 1 queen. Brandon Steven now after the raise from Sipkins to $380,000. Steven with 6-4 of spades, and he makes the call from the big blind.
The car dealer from Kansas. 2 more amateurs, heads up.
Think you can bet me off now?
I'm rooting for the kid.
Steven, one of the very short stacks, under 2 million chips.
Now I'm really pot committed now.
I'm definitely rooting for the kid.
All right, Sipkins and Steven.
I check.
And Brandon Steven checks dark. All right, the flop is Trey 5-7. Steven flops a 7 high straight. He checked dark. Sipkins with top pair, top kicker.
I'm still rooting for the kid.
I'm all in. Call.
Steven calls all in. He's the shorter stack, and he flopped the joint.
We have no chance, but I'm still rooting for the kid.
And it looks like Steven's brothers, Johnny and Rodney, will hang around a little longer.
Brandon, Steven, all in and very comfortable.
How did you call the flop? I took a time. Blank that turn, dealer. Put a 2 on. No, put a. Yeah, 2's fine.
Turn card is a queen. That's blank enough. Sipkins drawing dead and puts $4.4 million into the account of Brandon Steven.
Steven still only with 27 big blinds.
Been waiting on that 4-6 of spades all day.
I'm still rooting for the kid. Any more cards to come?
That's it, Norman. Steven can now stand down from desperation mode with about $4.5 million. But Sipkins still in position to possibly be the youngest ever main event champ. According to the FullTiltPoker.net tournament ticker, it's not just the champions who are getting younger. As the size of the overall field has been reduced, so has the average age. When play began on day 1, the average age was over 37. Now, with only 19 left, it's fallen to under 29. That trend bodes well both for Sipkins and our 24-year-old chip leader Joseph Cheong, who has the action back at the feature table.
David, did you win a bracelet this year?
David Baker won the bracelet.
Is that a joke?
No.
The other one did. I didn't.
Okay, no. Okay, no. I knew you had deep runs and everything. I didn't know. I honestly did. It was an honest question.
I had a couple final tables, but yeah, he won a bracelet. I didn't.
The two Bakers are often confused.
I realize now how that could have came off bad.
Matt and I have something in common. Sometimes we put foot in mouth.
All right, action here on Joseph Cheong. 24-year-old born in South Korea, now lives in San Diego. Queen 4 of hearts.
He went out on day 4 or 5 to buy a second hoodie because he thought it would be embarrassing to have only won the entire main event.
From under the gun, he raises to 380. Matt Affleck with pocket tens.
Of course, Matt has 7 Seattle jerseys here at the main event. At the moment, he's worried because Cheong raised under the gun. In the old days, if you raised under the gun, you had a big hand. Cheong has queen 4.
Suited. It's suited.
Suited.
Pocket tens. Make the call. Jarvis folds over to David. I'm not Baker. Pocket sevens.
David Baker trying to reclaim his name. Lon, you and I are ahead of the game. Nobody wants either of our names.
You're right about that. From the button, Baker just with the call.
He's also respecting Cheong's under the gun raise.
Habib, the oldest player, left at 48. Baker, the next oldest, at 38. Habib folded, so 3 players will see the flop. The flop is Jack Ace 10, Affleck with a set of 10s, Cheong with a Broadway draw, Baker with a 1% hand. Cheong bets 525.
The continuation mistake.
Affleck with the best hand, just with a call.
I signaled to Matt to just call, and he has.
Very nice. Baker lays down, smart move.
And the remaining players keep their faces well covered.
Turn card is a queen. That puts a Broadway draw on board. The best Cheong can do is chop it if a king comes. Cheong comes out with $1.125 million.
Cheong fires a 3rd barrel. My guy has to worry that Cheong hit Broadway.
That is a worrisome board, and Affleck just with the call. The river card, Trey of spades, Affleck officially with the check mark with his set.
Does Joseph Cheong have one more round of hooey in him? It's possible he picked up a case of hooey at Costco earlier today.
Cheong now checks.
I have signaled to Matt to bet his set.
Check.
He missed the signal. The queens will come up short against the set. And Affleck takes that pot.
Here comes Matt Affleck.
Well, please don't put 1 of 6 cards on the turn.
Cheong took the hit. He's still our chip leader, about even on the day. Matt a bit frustrated that the straight draw on board kept his big gun holstered, but a win is a win. Time now for Straight from the Pros, brought to you by PokerStars.net. 2 keys to taking down a final table are knowing your opponent and trusting your reads. Just ask Daniel Negreanu about facing Bryant King and Tunica in 2006.
I raised with 2 sixes to 40,000, and Bryant was really re-raising a lot before the flop.
200 more.
But I started to feel like I got a read on his bet sizes. I'd seen some of the hands he turned over, and it seemed like the bigger the raise size, the more likely for it to be like a marginal hand like ace king, pocket nines, or something like that.
That's a big raise.
My dead read was that he had ace king exactly.
And Daniel calls it right away.
The flop came queen 4-3, and he bet 200,000, and that struck me as like very kind of a weak bet. And I looked at him, and he did not look confident to me. I decided to go with my gut. I moved all in.
Daniel doesn't think king has a bigger pair, and he's right.
He kind of shook his head and said, oops.
Go ahead, Daniel.
My read on the situation was that I was ahead, and I'm always going to look towards situations like that as situations where I can really push people around. The lesson for the hand for me was just to go with your read, stick your money in.
Back inside the Rio, only 19 remain at day 8 of the main event. Let's take a look at how things stand. First, the top 9, where Joseph Cheong is still on top. Matt Affleck has climbed back among the leaders, sits just above chip average of $11.5 million. Among the rest, the grinder has a lot of work to do, but not as much as John Dolan and Brandon Steven, each with fewer than 15 big blinds. One of our final 19 will be wearing that World Championship bracelet come November 9th. Action here at table 2 on Michael Mizrachi. King Jack.
It took him forever to make a World Series final table, and now it seems that's all he does.
From under the gun, he raises to 380,000. Mikhail Sipkins with an ace and a 10.
He is in his 3rd year of college in Rotterdam, studying logistics and transport management.
He re-raises the action to 960. On the button, John Dolan, a very short stack, with queens.
Mullen.
And his last 2.2 million are in the pot.
John Dolan doesn't know from logistics, he just knows pocket queens. And as you mentioned, chip-wise, he is in the danger zone.
So action folds over to amateur Brandon Steven and the big blind with pocket nines. He is the shortest stack in the room.
Pocket nines, though, shrink when there are 3 raises in front of you.
Brandon Steven.
Good fold.
Frustrated.
Well, it was about to be a good fold.
Yeah, he does lay it down finally. Over to Mizrachi, and the pro lays down King Jack. Sipkins made the call to put Dolan at risk.
It was for 10% of Sipkins' stack. Dolan with that uneasy look on him.
John Dolan with his tournament life on the line again. All right, here's the flop. 6-9 trade. Dolan's pocket queens stand strong. Brandon Stevens sees he would have flopped a set. Sipkins looking for help. The turn card does not bring it.
An ace on the river, and John Dolan's going home.
The river card is a 7, and Dolan will double up to almost 5.3 million.
John Dolan out of the danger zone.
Sipkins down to about 10 million.
Grinder. 2 nines, right? 2.26.
I knew you have 2 nines.
Yep.
Wow, that's so sick.
But if I would have known a 9 was
I
going
would
to
have
flop.
thought with jacks a while.
But jacks and 9's the same thing there.
Jacks and 9s are not the same thing right there. You don't think I put it in with 10s there? Are you crazy?
So John Dolan still alive in his bid to make the final table. 19th place and 18th place are also not the same thing, and it's not just a point of pride that makes it worthwhile. There is a difference of almost $80,000 between finishing 19th and 18th. Back at the feature table, chip leader Joseph Cheong on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Pocket Cam, pocket nines.
He says the hoodie helps him to not give away any tells. It tells me he doesn't have a nice shirt to wear.
He raises it up to 380,000. Matt Affleck back among the living with pocket deuces here.
80th last year in a field of 6,500. A top 20 finish guaranteed this year in a field of 7,300. That is some back-to-back performance for Mr. Affleck.
He makes the call. Matt Jarvis will fold. Folded over to Filippo Candio in the small blind.
This is his only sweater, right?
It is indeed the lucky sweater and lucky pocket queens, maybe. He just calls. Big blind Hassan Habib folds.
3 pocket pairs in search of a flop set.
This could be dangerous for someone. The queens are ahead right now. 9 ace 5. Cheong with a set of 9s. Candio checks. Joseph Cheong checks his set.
Cheong with the sneaky check. Affleck with the sublime check.
Turn card is an 8 of clubs. Cheong still best. Affleck now drawing dead. Condio drawing very thin, but takes a stab with those queens, 475. Cheong raises to over $1.5 million. Matt says maybe next time.
Good for him.
Condio doesn't believe Cheong. He's got chips, but he pulls them back.
He can't do that. That's forward motion. The dealer should tell Filippo the chips gotta stay.
Condio says fold.
Yeah, time.
I'm not sure they're gonna let him though, Norman.
He did. He came over with the million.
They're right.
Yeah.
It's almost like the goal line in football with his forward motion. He crossed the plane of an imaginary line.
He made a motion. It might be a call.
And now another tournament official comes over.
It's a call. Okay, it's a call.
Officials say Condio's chips have to go in the middle. That rule is to prevent someone from acting like they're going to call just to see the other player's reaction.
All right, so here's the river card. It's a 4 of hearts. Cheong now with the check mark.
I don't think Filippo was shooting an angle on the turn. He just had a change of heart, and he had to put the million in.
Condio checked it.
2.25 million.
Cheong says $2.25 million.
Cheong saw Condio wanted out. He knows his set is good, and he's hoping Condio is priced in now and will call. Filippo's got no business calling at this point.
Condio may be thinking that Cheong's trying to, how do you say it, swaggle-foos him, Norman?
You got it.
I called.
He made the call! And Cheong shows him the set. Condio has to ship the chips.
Well, that pump fake mistake ended up costing Filippo an extra $3.3 million. Filippo tried to fold on the turn, and he should have folded on the river.
Wow, a river bonus for Cheong.
Did you river 2 pair?
I set on the river, mate.
Set on the river?
Filippo did not hit a set, trying to save face there, and Filippo perhaps upset at the ruling and upset at himself.
Filippo will walk this one off. No singing from him now.
Set on the river, that's insane.
Just about everything that could go wrong did go wrong for Filippo, and Joseph Cheong moves further ahead of the bunch as the main event pressure is ratcheted up. 19 players remain, but the final 2 tables have only 18 seats.
One time.
Yes! In this high-stakes game of musical chairs, the next man out will go home, and those who remain will be 1 table away from a spot in the November 9. Perhaps the most surprising person still in the main event here at the Rio is Soy Win, who admits he really doesn't know that much about poker. He's not only in the final 19, but among the chip leaders. He's in a hand right now at table 3 with Dewey Lay. They just saw a flop of King 10 Ace.
Win inexperienced, but he is getting help on breaks from his friend, top pro Nam Lee.
Soy bets $550,000. Lay with the call. Turn card, 5 of hearts. Win now with $1 million.
Lay, 10 years, Soy Wins Jr., but with a lot more poker under his belt.
Lay calls with 10 lavender chips, a deuce of diamonds on the river. Win with $1.7 million. Dewey Lay matches him, and Soy Win mucks his cards. And so Lay will take that pot and shows a pair of aces.
Boy, we have seen Dewey Lay just owning Soy Win on day 8, and you saw how fast he made that river call. He knew Win was bluffing.
Soy Win gives up another 3 million chips to Dewey Lay. The chip average just above 11.5 million. Joseph Cheong has been the chip leader for a while now. Currently at the featured table, he sits with just about 29 million chips. Condio still smarting from that earlier hit with 13 million.
That earlier hit was his pump fake disaster against Cheong.
Race.
Condio says raise with 7-5 of spades. He gets right back on the horse.
Filippo getting frisky with small suited connectors in early position.
A raise to 385.
Amazing to see Hassan Habib still here. He's had no chips and no cards forever.
Pocket aces for Cheong this time on the button.
That is the best starting hand in Hold'em, Lon.
It is. And Cheong knows how to play him. He re-raises to just over 1.1 million.
Do you know what the second best starting hand is, Lon?
The other 2 aces?
Oh, I never thought of that. Boy, you do great on the Wonderlic test. You're ahead of me.
Condio with the call, and he will joust with the chip leader once again. Here's the flop. It is 5-6-6. Aces up for Cheong now. Condio with a lesser 2 pair, 5s and 6s. Condio checked. Cheong with 1.5 million and change.
Raise.
Condio says raise.
No pump fake from Filippo. He declares verbally that he's going to put some chips in bad.
4.4.
4.4.
Filippo gets a little out of line. He check raises. He says 4.4 million.
Cheong in the driver's seat.
How much did you start the hand with, approximately?
Condio mum.
7.5, right at 8.
All right, I'm all in.
Cheong, the biggest stack in the room, re-raises Condio all in. That gets everyone's attention.
Cheong has the big stack and the best hand. If Condio calls here, the November 9 will just be another date on his calendar.
Condio giving this some thought.
I call.
And he makes the call, Norman.
Oh, Filippo.
Wow.
That's it.
And Condio steps into the abyss. And he knows his bid to become the first Italian-born player to make the main event final table is all but over.
How do you say blow up in Italian? Almost 27 million chips in the balance and Filippo Condio at risk.
Can you believe how many chips Joseph Cheong is going to have if he wins this hand?
Oh my goodness, over 40 million.
Condio was in knee deep and now he is in neck deep.
Condio looks at a turn card now of an 8 of spades. Cheong still ahead. Condio picks up an up and down straight draw. That's got everyone buzzing.
Cheong still in position to become the runaway chip leader. No signs of singing from Condio, but there's still some hope on the horizon. Condio would need a 4, 5, or 9, or he is busted.
All right, now the river card is the 4!
I would call that excessive good fortune.
Runner straight for Condio. Cheong wonders why me?
Boy, that celebration looked like a scientific experiment gone awry.
Filippo Condio is the man of the hour. Joseph Cheong knocked down to 7th place.
He absorbs the blow silently. Condio called all in with a 13% chance of survival. Runner straight, and he is now the chip leader.
Just when Cheong looked like the 40 million chip man, a miraculous turn of events gives Filippo Condio almost 27 million chips, and suddenly he's the man to beat. Back at the Rio, Filippo Condio still savoring his runner miracle.
Nice hit, man, nice hit.
I'm wrong, because when he say me how much you have and you count, I know that I'm not committed.
Fair enough, dude. Hey, you don't got to justify anything to me. Nice hand, and you got the stack, dude.
I gamble. Only gamble.
But with that gamble, he should be in a cab to the airport now.
Joseph Cheong still in shock. He lost both that huge hand and the chip lead in the process. Let's take a look at how these two stack up on the tail of the tape, brought to you by the official WSOP game. Play now on Facebook. Both men have won their share of hands, but only one of them has seen his chip stack grow larger, because while Cheong has taken an additional heads-up pot, the differential reminds us that all came from one hand.
Indeed, one lucky card and one big hand skews all the stats. Filippo Condio won the biggest pot of the main event so far, and as a result, he is the new chip leader.
Cheong had such a big stack before that hand, he remains in the top 9. To table 2, John Dolan way ahead with his aces against the king-queen held by 21-year-old Mikhail Sipkins. Here's the flop. It is ace, deuce, a full boat for John Dolan.
Sipkins is drawing dead to running deuces to chop the pot. I'd love to see that.
Check.
Dolan laying in the weeds. He checks. Sipkins checks as well. Smart kid. Turn card is a jack, and now Sipkins drawing dead. Dolan with a check mark. He now bets 525.
Sipkins picked up a Broadway draw, but there is drawing dead and there is drawing very dead. This is very dead.
He does make the call. I believe he's drawing dead, Norman. River card is a 10. Oh my, Sipkins hit his straight. That may leave a mark.
Tell me this isn't happening to the kid. Nothing worse than drawing very dead and getting there.
Dolan bets 1.1 million.
If Sipkins called 911 now, they'd tell him we can't help you, you're dead.
He announces raise.
Oh, Jesus, it's just like you're already in the coffin, you're being lowered into the ground, and you remember you left the water running in the bathtub. It doesn't matter, you're dead.
That's almost all of Dolan's stack.
All in.
And now Dolan re-raises all in.
And now he's just kicking dirt on the grave. It's just another $860,000 to Sipkins, and the pot is over $8 million. The dead man's got a call.
I call.
He does, and in exchange will receive some very bad news. And Dolan is off the mat with over $9 million now.
I don't really know how else I'm supposed to play it. Unlucky, nothing you can do.
John Dolan sheepish about robbing the cradle or the grave.
That is Dolan's second double up at Seifkin's expense, and that should allow him and his parents to breathe a bit easier about making the decision to become a professional poker player.
I told my parents around the third year I was going into college I didn't want to keep going, and I felt like I was wasting my time. And they didn't like that whatsoever, but I pretty much told them that's what I wanted to do. I kind of liked the freedom of the game, the ability to play when you wanted to and not having someone telling you what to do all the time.
Yeah.
And I've always been pretty competitive in everything I've done. It's pretty funny because this is probably the only aspect of life, I guess, that I've been semi-disciplined, because it's a huge part of the game.
I call.
You definitely have to be very disciplined.
I got you.
I got it. My parents eventually came around once they saw that I was making enough money to live off of.
Wow.
Just want nice things and not have to worry about anything. $9 million's enough to not have to worry about much.
Dolan says he wants to win enough money so that he only has to play poker when he wants to. If he outlasts 18 more people, he should be in great shape.
Back to our featured table, and it's time for the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wildcard hand.
6 of hearts, 2 of spades.
We don't even know who it is yet.
That doesn't help me.
It's Joseph Cheong. You might be right.
Well, he's a tough guy to figure. He reminds me a little of a Jonathan Duhamel.
Cheong is going to raise it up from under the gun +1 to 475.
Let me think about it for a sec.
Ace 10 for Affleck.
Can you hear me thinking?
Yeah, I can hear you. Matt Affleck in the cutoff position. Re-raises to 1.3 million.
I'm still thinking. Sorry, I'm publicly educated.
Folded back over to Cheong. And he commits the chips to a call.
Well, from UTG +1, Cheong originally could have raised with anything. I'll put him on Jack 10 suited.
All right, here's the flop 7-7-5. Affleck does not pair up. Cheong checks.
If he had picked up a flush draw there, I think he would have bet it.
Matt, very Chris Ferguson-like with that check.
I think it's a battle of bupkis.
Turn card is a third diamond, 6 of diamonds. Affleck with the nut flush draw now.
Oh, here comes Cheong.
He wants to bet it. Just over 1.6 million.
I think he's posturing. Maybe he picked up a flush draw or straight draw. I'm not sure my boy Matt can call him, though. But maybe Matt's got the same read I do. That's never a good thing.
No, it's not. Matt has some chips once again to play with, and he does make the call.
Maybe he's thinking Cheong is a bald-faced imposter. I'm still thinking Jack 10.
9 of clubs on the river. Cheong now checks again.
I don't think it's a check raise. Rather, I think Cheong's waving a white flag. Now, does Matt want to bluff at it?
Might play that. I check.
Nope, he checks too.
You got it.
Cheong says you got it.
Really?
And shows King 10 of hearts, complete air.
Oh, maybe Cheong should have bet again, but I was right. He had nothing. Every donkey has his day. Today is mine.
Matt Affleck with ace high wins the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand. He's trying to become the first man to win a world championship in a Seattle jersey since the Supersonics in 1979. The main event continues on day 8 here at the Rio. We are 1 elimination away from consolidating the field to 2 tables. The current chip leader is the main event's own version of Houdini, Filippo Candio.
I still can't believe the hand we saw that made Filippo Candio chip leader.
He looks down at pocket 5s.
He says he loves the stress of the game and the emotion of the game. He got his money's worth against Cheong.
And from early position, he's going to raise it up to 510,000.
Pinch me line if Hassan Habib ever gets a hand or gets some chips.
Fold that over to Jason Sentai on the button with 2 queens.
I don't like the visor, Lon. It's like you don't want to fully commit to the baseball cap.
With a raise in front of him from the chip leader.
Real men don't wear visors.
Sentai re-raises to $1,275,000.
See, my guy Matt, he's got a baseball cap on. He's a man.
He folded. Candio needs $765,000 more to call. And he can afford it. Heads up now.
A visor and shades? He's trying to get on my bad side.
Prevent any soul reads here. I'll put on glasses.
Sentai ahead with the queens. The flop is 9-8-7. The queens still have the advantage. Candio with a gut shot, and he checks.
It looks like Filippo is way behind and probably on his way to a straight.
Turn card. Tray of hearts. Sentai still good. Candio still needs a 6 for a straight, and he checks again.
I'm not big on beards either.
Sentai is not your guy. And Jason says, enough free cards for the chip leader. I'm going to make you pay before you suck out on me. Over $1.5 million.
Well, I don't like the visor, the shades, or the beard, but I like the bet.
In the middle is Jason's wife, Jessica, among a big group of supporters. And Condio makes that call.
He's calling? Maybe he puts Sentai on just 2 big cards, but then why not raise and end it?
Another 7. Sentai gets the check mark. He has queens up. Condio checks.
2.7.
Sentai bets. Now Condio.
Well, Sentai has bet almost half the pot. Filippo looks like he might not be a believer. He's getting a little more than 3 to 1 on a call here. Actually, it's closer to pi to 1, Lon. Pi
to 1?
Oh, yeah.
I call.
Condio
Queens.
calls. And just like that, Filippo has dropped out of first place as Sentai takes that big pot.
Well, we saw Filippo check call the river against Cheong and now against Sentai and lose a bunch of chips. In between, he made a straight from heaven to stick around.
We're looking for!
Team Sentai on its feet. A nice win by Jason. He's now over 14 million. Condio down to 20 million. Let's take a look at the updated leaderboard where Condio has fallen to 3rd place behind John Racner and Pascal Lafrancois, but it's still a very tight race for the overall chip lead. Lafrancois, of course, seeking his 2nd bracelet of the year. As for the shorter stacks, the other 3 bracelet winners, Mizrachi, Clements, and Habib, are among the 5 smallest totals, and Hassan Habib in the cellar with only 2.3 million. We are only 1 player from consolidating down to 2 tables. Out at table 3, Ben Stotts moved all in after the flop. Jonathan Duhamel is debating the call.
How much roughly?
It's for about 1/4 of Duhamel's chip stack.
We're left. 1, 2.
Stotts, the amateur from New York, CEO of a proprietary trading firm.
Stotts started the hand with a little more than 5 million. Duhamel with about 19 million. There is Katie Lederer, Ben's girlfriend. Duhamel lays it down. Ben Stotts will not be put at risk.
You have to wonder what's it going to take to get Howard Lederer or Annie Duke out here to cheer for Ben Stotts. He's practically their boyfriend-in-law, and he's in the final 19.
So Ben doesn't get a call. He adds a few big blinds to his small stack. Let's move across to table 2 once again, and 21-year-old Dutch college student Michiel Sipkens. Sipkens looks down at 2 blackjacks.
Pocket jacks is like drawn dead.
I'm all in.
He's all in for almost 2.5 million. So now over to John Racner. Racner with a king and a queen.
Painted rags.
I call.
Nope. Enough to make the call and put Sipkens at risk.
Racner 2nd in chips. Risked about 11% of his stack with king-queen. He could afford it. And now the man trying to become the youngest main event champ ever is at risk.
Racner will try to get us to our final 18.
I hope to see 10s.
Sipkens had hoped Racner had an under pair, but he's up against 2 overcards. Here's the flop, and it's 4 queen 9. Racner pairs his queen. Sipkens in trouble.
1 foot out the door for Michiel Sipkens.
Clubs.
He's looking for an escape route. Turn card is a 7 of clubs. Racner still ahead. Sipkens with a flush draw.
Sipkens needs a jack or a club or he's gone.
River card is a deuce of hearts. Racner wins the hand, knocking out Michiel Sipkens in 19th place.
The 21-year-old student with a big payday, and Joe Caddick can rest easy.
Sipkens graciously bows out of this main event. So that hand changes everything. John Racner takes the chip lead. Michiel Sipkens takes the walk. Meaning we're down to 2 tables, and Joe Caddick's record is safe for another year. It all comes down to this. 2 tables remaining, with 18 players hoping to make it to the final table. And you can feel the electricity here in the Rio Poker Room as fans, press, friends, and family are all on their feet, eager for the action to begin.
History is in the making, Lon. I have wild goosebumps.
Out at table 2 is chip leader Pascal Lafrancois and former chip leaders Matt Affleck and Filippo Condio. Over at the feature table today is John Racner, currently 2nd in chips, surrounded by a couple of top pros who are among the short stacks. Hassan Habib with 1.8 million and Michael the Grinder Mizrachi.
Don't open with anything you're not ready to commit the whole tournament on, right?
Grinder's getting some last-minute advice to play it safe so he can make it to the final table.
Here's a look at the leaderboard. Lafrancois in Racner on top, followed by Jonathan Duhamel, Matt Jarvis, and the lone remaining European Filippo Candio. On the flip side, 3 of the 4 remaining bracelet winners are in the bottom 9, including Mizrachi, Scott Clements, and Habib, who's hanging on by a hair.
It's been the year of the Mizrachis, and if this one makes it to the November 9, you can just call it the year of the grinder.
Lines right now at 100,000 and 200,000.
3 amateurs at this featured table: Brandon Steven, Ben Stotts, and Soy win.
There is the amateur win. His real first name is Kuhn. He prefers his nickname Soy. Folded to the pro, Michael Mizrachi from Florida on the Jackling Speed Jerky Pocket Cam Ace Jack.
14 of the 18 players left are American. Actually, 17 of 18 are North American, with 3 Canadians left.
Mizrachi with a raise to 485,000 from the hijack seat. His wife, Lily, always looking on, always looking nervous. Scott Clements, the only 2-time bracelet winner left, with ace-queen on the button.
I'm all in.
And he moves all in for almost $5 million.
Clements might be the best player still in this field.
Mizrachi with the ace-jack may have to play for all his chips after that raise. In the big blind, Matt Jarvis with ace-king.
One of the 3 Canadians.
I'm all in too.
And he moves all in. He has the other 2 covered.
You're all in?
I'm all in too.
I don't think Grinder's going to be playing ace-jack for his main event life against 2 players. Grinder has Clements covered. Matt Jarvis, of course, has them both covered.
So the decision back to Mizrachi with Clements all in and at risk.
2 all-ins, right? After the race.
Michael would have to call it for all his chips.
He gives friends and family a peek at his cards and folds.
And what does the Greek choir have to say about that?
Not much.
So Clements at risk and dominated by Matt Jarvis.
Wow, sick, everybody.
Yeah, Scott Clements in tough shape here for his main event life.
In Scott's corner, poker pro Amit Sander, rooting for a queen.
King ball.
The Jarvis clan would love to see a king.
Yeah, I've had my number, Scott. Let's see.
Clements 2 bracelets, 1 WPT title.
I'll take a pair on the board twice.
That would chop the pot and would keep Scott around. Here's the flop. It is 5-7 ace.
Case ace.
And the last ace pair is both. Jarvis's kicker keeps him ahead.
That's a pretty bleak flop for Scott Clements.
Turn card is a 6. Jarvis sweating it out, but he's in very good shape.
It gets bleaker and bleaker for Clements.
Deuce.
Some help, Norm.
It's out of my hands. Scott Clements has to have a queen or he's gone.
The river card now is an 8, and Jarvis wins the hand, knocking out Scott Clements in 18th place. Clements with a nice payday, almost $397,000.
Played really well. Really good.
Scott Clements almost always plays really well. A quiet, steady class act.
He's made 7 World Series final tables, but falls short here of another one in the main event. So with the addition of Clements' $5 million, Matt Jarvis now in 2nd place with nearly 27 million chips. So 1 down, 8 more to go, and even after his opening raise with a big ace, a good laydown by the grinder keeps him in the hunt.
Norman, it has taken an awfully long time to get here, but the main event is now literally a tale of 2 tables. Tonight, one group of 9 players will go home heartbroken, while the other will start making plans for the biggest poker moment of their lives.
Lon, the question is, what's the best path to take to get to that moment? Strategy-wise, do you crawl into a cocoon while the rest of the players knock each other out, or do you take advantage and prey on the fear of others? It's a precarious predicament, but if you make the right call, you'll be one of the fortunate few to make the November 9.
Everyone walking on the blade of a sword. Are you the next one out, or will you be at the final table? Chip leader Pascal Lafrancois sitting at table 2 folds over to David Baker with just 5.9 million chips. He does not commit any. Over to Joseph Cheong, 9th in chips with 10 deuce. Cheong folds. Now Filippo Candio in 5th place.
He's the only non-North American left.
Queen 4. And he folds over to poker pro Adam Levy with pocket 5s.
He transitioned from Magic the Gathering to poker, a top-notch online grinder.
He made a nice main event run in 08, finishing 48th. And he's going to make a raise to $480,000 from the dealer button.
You know what she started with? Like 7-ish?
6.2, I think.
Matt Affleck knows Adam Levy well from playing online. From the big blind, Affleck with pocket kings.
What a stamp Matt Affleck has put on the main event. No one's had a better 2-year run in 09 and 2010. 80th last year, final 2 tables this year.
Affleck wants to play for a little more, a re-raise to $1.4 million.
That's right, Matt. Muscle up with your big pair. Well, earlier in the main event, Levy's more likely to see the flop. Here, it's a little tougher with his chip stack.
And he does lay his pocket fives down to the pressure of Matt Affleck.
Good fold, and nobody's pushing around my godson, Matt.
Back to the featured table where Michael Mizrachi avoided elimination a moment ago when two players moved all in after his raise.
I want to try that all-in thing.
You're free to do it at any time. I believe the rules permit any player.
It's a bit tougher for any player to do it here on the cusp of the final table. If you don't make the November 9, you are a footnote.
Ben Stotts, an amateur from New York with ace-10.
Hey, any player, any time. Push. Go ahead, push, Ben.
He's thinking about it, but he lays it down.
I couldn't bait him.
Amateur Soy win among the top 9 stacks at the moment with pocket fours.
This is his 4th tournament ever.
And he raises to $490,000.
If Hassan Habib makes the November 9, I'm going to pin a Poker Medal of Valor on him. He's been short stacked since Prohibition.
Folded over to Matt Jarvis, second in chips. Ace-deuce suited.
How much did you start the hand with?
12.
Win should make Jarvis an offer for his sunglasses. You know, like $2 million.
Jarvis lays it down.
I haven't looked yet, for what it's worth.
Wow, okay.
You thought I'd already looked?
I thought you'd already
I got
looked.
the feeling that you thought that too.
Jason Sentai in the small blind, King 8.
I just am trying to be more consistent with the glasses thing right now, is all.
The best way to be more consistent is to take them off forever.
In the big blind, Ace King for Brandon Steven.
The Kansas amateur is a fist pumper, very competitive.
I'm gonna raise.
A re-raise to almost $1.6 million.
Win in a similar position. We just saw Adam Levy, except he's got twice as many chips.
Win makes the call.
King Jack again?
Steven referring to Soy Win's huge win with King Jack over Theo Jorgensen. Steven saw a flop in that hand.
Much better.
Much better.
Soy Win and Brandon Steven will see a flop. And it is trade deuce jack, 2 diamonds, win, small pocket pair still leads. Steven checks. You may recall Soy said he didn't even know basic poker terms like under the gun, but he knows how to check. Turn card 9 of hearts. Soy Win and his pocket fours are still best. Steven checks again.
They should ask the dealer for a new flop and a new turn.
Good idea. Win checks.
2 amateurs stepping lightly.
River card 10 of spades with the pocket fours. Win earns the check mark.
Looks like Steven wants to take a stab at it now.
He does take a shot. Just over $1.1 million.
Soy Win's been getting coaching the last couple of days from his friend, top pro Nam Lee.
I call.
And makes the call here with pocket fours.
Good call.
A great call for the self-proclaimed novice.
Soy Win picks off the bluff. One amateur frustrates the other.
Soy Win with a strong call. He read Brandon Steven correctly on the river. Steven takes the hit. Soy now with nearly $15 million as this amateur tries to make a reservation at the main event final table. Back at the Rio at the featured table, Hassan Habib with ace-queen just moved all in from early position for his last $1.6 million. Action on Matt Jarvis. Ace Trey suited. Into the muck. Does Jason Sentai want to take on Habib? Nope.
3 players to go for Hassan.
On the button, King 9 for Steven. And he lays it down.
2 players to go.
Ben Stotts. 10-9.
Play ball.
No thanks. To the big blind, Soy Win. He's got an ace and a 6.
Well, it's for not much more than 10% of his stack, but this would be a good laydown on Soy Win's part. As it is, he is dominated by Hassan Habib.
Soy Win with another peek. Shows an ace and folds. Habib will survive.
Hassan needs to double up, but he'll take it.
He picks up over $500,000 in blinds and antes.
Hassan, you will not die, my friend. You just hanging around. I love it. I love it.
Ninja. Thanks, but senior ninja.
Senior ninja? All right, I love it.
Captain ninja.
A nice win for the senior pro, but a good fold for Soy Win. And for a guy who doesn't know what he's doing, he certainly knows what he's doing.
I really got into poker when I saw Chris Moneymaker win it. Average, everyday Joe guy was able to beat out all these pros and actually win the whole thing. Made me think like, hey, I got a chance too. I'm an everyday guy too. I mean, I have a typical everyday job. I mean, I go to work probably 45, 50 hours a week. In the 10 years, I've probably taken a total of maybe 2 to 3 weeks off. So I told my boss, I've always had the dream of playing in the main event. So I just went for it. Every pro poker player goes in this World Series because they want a chance to win the World Series. I just went in for the experience of it.
Nice hand, man. Nice hand.
Once I started playing poker, when I'm in the zone, all I thought was poker. I didn't think about anything else. But I really don't believe it's dumb luck. I just think, I really believe in karma. I've done people right, so hopefully somebody out there is watching out for me right now. Now I just want to try to take a chance at winning the whole thing. Hey, I got this far for a reason. I know this sounds a little cliche and everything, but, if you really want something, just go after it and, you might get it.
Indeed, Soya is the everyman, this year's Chris Moneymaker or Darvin Moon. He certainly may not have the skills of most of the others, but it's hard not to root for him.
Back over to table 2, and there sits Montreal poker pro Jonathan Duhamel with 20 million chips and pocket kings.
He says this is his lucky hood. He's been wearing the same hoodie every day, but with different shirts underneath.
And Duhamel, from under the gun +3, makes a raise to $500,000 ace-jack for Affleck.
I've been thinking of getting Matt Affleck a clothing consultant. Of course, I could use one myself.
And he makes a call with ace-jack. David Baker with Jack-7 of spades in the big blind.
Only 4 players left over the age of 30. Baker at 38, the second oldest after Hassan Habib.
Baker makes the call. His parents, Dick and Donna, had scheduled a vacation here, not realizing their son would still be playing. They've delayed their departure. Of course, poker pros Greg Mueller on the right and Ray Henson also in David's corner.
Of course, I'm here for Matt Affleck, and Jonathan Duhamel's on his own.
3 to the flop. Queen, deuce, 4, 2 spades. Duhamel's pocket kings are still good. Affleck got no help. Baker picked up a flush draw. Baker first to act. And he checks. Now Duhamel with the best hand.
I like Duhamel, but in this garb, he could be the devil.
He's going to bet $1,275,000.
The devil would bet pocket kings here, would he not?
Affleck lays down his hand.
How much is the bet?
$1,275,000.
Baker on the draw.
I'm all in.
Moves all in.
How much?
David Baker, with 30-odd big blinds left, decides to gamble on the spade draw.
His parents looking very nervous.
Lot 5.
I call.
Duhamel calls with the kings.
Well, this is it for David Baker. If he misses his hand, he's gone. If he hits it, he's got a great chance for the November 9.
I'll take my chances
with
a king.
He doesn't want a king. He's half of them.
I'll take my chances.
Jonathan Duhamel in position to become chip leader here as David Baker awaits his fate.
Baker has hung on for quite a while. Now with all his chips in the middle, he awaits the turn. It's another queen. That takes the king of spades away from Baker for an out.
Baker doesn't like his chances as much now.
Come on, spade. Spade!
Baker needs any spade other than the king, or he's gone.
The river card is a 4 of hearts. Duhamel's 2 pair eliminates David Baker in 17th place. And that's painful for everyone in the Baker camp.
He's not the other David Baker to me. He is David Baker. Great run.
5 top 20 finishes at this year's World Series as Jonathan Duhamel takes the last of Baker's chips. And with a deep run here in the main event, Baker has solidified a name for himself in the poker world. Jonathan Duhamel with the chip lead. We're down to 16. The short stack's under severe pressure. Who will be the next to go? Back at the Rio, the new chip leader in the room, 22-year-old Jonathan Duhamel of Canada. But he and everyone else still have a long way to go to capture that main event bracelet. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. Duhamel heads the 20 million plus club, which also includes Matt Jarvis, John Raster, and Filippo Candio. Meanwhile, 7 others trying to fight their way into the top 9. The 2 of the biggest climbs ahead of them, Michael Mizrachi and Hassan Habib.
Grinder pretty adept with a short stack, and he says you can steal sometimes with a short stack. People don't expect you to be making a play.
All right, here at this feature table, one of the big stacks, John Raisner lays it down. Over to Jason Sentai, no thanks. To Brandon Stephen with ace-10.
Stephen has that polished, successful look to him. I wouldn't mind that look.
He limps.
Again?
200,000 from Stephen over to Ben Stotts. On the button with 9-8.
Stotts used to play a lot of blackjack, then wandered into a poker room one day and got hooked on a new hobby.
Stotts lays down.
Good fold, good fold.
Really? For 200,000? How could Stotts not see a flop with 9-8 suited? I would have.
Soy win.
What?
Folds his small blind. Now Grinder in the big blind with ace-5.
And he can see a flop for free if he chooses.
He does check his option. So Michael Mizrachi in the hand with a weaker ace.
Don't do anything stupid, all right? Don't do something I would do.
You want to define that?
Neither of these short stacks can afford a mistake now. Here's the flop. It's 10, ace, 8. Steven with aces up. Mizrachi with just a pair of aces.
Check.
Grinder checks.
Grinder checks and checks out Brandon Steven.
Steven with 200,000 with his entourage looking on, including his wife Karen in the middle. Mizrachi with a check raise to $500,000.
Grinder believes his pair of aces are best. He is wrong.
500,000 is the bet now.
Your wife just told me that you raised.
Well, it's no secret.
I'm all in.
All in.
And that's a raise that would put Mizrachi all in.
Take with brains. Jack nine of spades.
Nope, ace-10. 2 of the short stacks. Steven has Mizrachi covered. And a moment of truth here for Grinder. He's drawing almost dead.
An anguishing moment for all of the Mizrachi clan.
I got a bigger hand than you think I have.
Jack nine spades.
Jeez, people, nobody's got Jack 9.
Already, huh?
Jack nine of spades, way better than that.
Better than Jack. How do you get better than Jack nine
I
spades?
swear I got better than that.
You can't have better than that. There's nothing better than Jack nine spades. I like Jack nine spades better in my hand.
Steven's a card dealer, but this is a card room, not a showroom. Talking too much isn't advisable.
That could be what I have, though.
Well, I'm allowed to see what I have?
Sure.
I'm allowed to see what I have? Or not?
Tell me what you don't have by one.
Yeah, you can't say what your hand is, but you can lie about it, one of poker's quirks.
The right decision, baby. Make the right decision, please.
So the right decision is to fold yesterday.
More importantly, what do you think I have?
Steven seems awfully comfortable.
About 100%, 90% sure I have the best hand. I'm just taking my time.
Oh, well, I'm in big trouble.
I don't think Steven thinks he's in big trouble.
Give me a second, guys.
Let it go. Fight another day.
Good advice.
I know I got pretty sure I have the best.
And that's what Michael does.
Show it.
Steven's not going to show anything.
But Steven will take the chips.
I know you got a flush draw. Pretty sure you might have Jack Queen of spades.
My hand's made. My hand.
Tell me one.
Can't show you. Are you kidding me? If I give you any information, you'll kill me.
Oh, Brandon has the right idea about that.
All right, everybody.
Full? Huh?
So I knew you had an ace.
Grinder talking it out with his group. A good laydown, though, by Michael, and he dodges danger again.
Limp pop pre-flop. That was my big blind.
Grinder's margin for error is narrowing. He's under 20 big blinds.
Grinder, if you think I'm putting my chips in the middle without a made hand, you're crazy.
Michael down to about $3.5 million, still swimming near the bottom of the barrel.
Every decision magnified down the stretch in the main event, and when you get to this point, the final table before the final table, it is blood, sweat, and tears.
Folded over to Matt Jarvis with king, queen off in the cutoff seat.
Jarvis says he finds tells in other people's eyes, so figures they might find them in his, and that's why he wears the cockamamie sunglasses.
He raised it up to $450,000. Ben Stotts with ace-5 of hearts in the big blind.
All in.
Stotts moves all in.
I need a count.
Jarvis wants to think about it.
Ben is all in for his last $5 million and change. His girlfriend Katie Lederer hoping her man can get a much-needed double up.
4.9, almost exactly 5.
It's a quarter.
Exactly 5. Cool.
It's
a big re-raise.
I would have preferred if Stotts played the 9-8 suited for $200,000 rather than pushed ace-5 all in for $5 million. But he shouldn't be getting a call here from Matt Jarvis.
You think he's reshipping lights? I got the call of his hand.
Jarvis has a big stack. Still, this is for about 20% of his chips.
I don't know I can fold. I really thought you were going to do this.
Jarvis doesn't believe Stotts has much of a hand.
I call.
Jarvis calls with his king-queen. Ben's tournament life now in the balance, but he'll find himself in the lead.
I don't like that call too much.
Wow.
Stotts surprised by Jarvis's king-queen call.
I just thought you were doing it like even lighter than this, so.
Obviously.
Ben Stotts might be going home. Matt Jarvis might be taking over the chip lead.
All right, so Matt Jarvis trying to get us one closer to the final table.
It's a sweater.
Ben Stotts at risk. Here's the flop. Queen, king, king, wow! Kings full for Jarvis.
That will be that.
What a flop, and likely the last one Ben Stotts will see.
Katie's brother Howard Lederer finished 5th once in the main event. Her sister Annie Duke once was 10th. Looks like her boyfriend's going to finish 16th.
Running ace is the only thing I have.
Indeed, only ace-ace saves Ben Stotts. It's pretty hopeless.
Stotts needs help, and he needs it stat. It's a 5 of spades on the turn. Stotts drawing dead. And to add insult to injury, Jarvis hits quads on the river. Stotts gone in 16th place.
Nice playing with you guys. Good luck to you guys. Hey, whatever, man. Everybody got bad luck at some point.
I'm going to do it even lighter than that. He was the guy that had Queen 10 all in for like 25 big blinds yesterday.
What a ride for the amateur Ben Stotts. He'll cash out for nearly $397,000 as Matt Jarvis of Canada takes over the chip lead. With more than $32 million, we're down to just 15. Time for Straight from the Pros, brought to you by PokerStars.net. Late in the 08 main event, soon-to-be November 9er, Dennis Phillips got lucky on the flop with a nut flush and played it perfectly the rest of the way against Joe Bishop.
You know, your feet are dancing under the floor, you're happy as can be. Bishop then went 550 on the flop, which was nice.
Speed limit. And Phillips, what do you do? Just move from St. Louis to Hollywood? He's acting like he doesn't like it.
When the king came out on the turn, he had a small reaction.
Oh, that's cruel. Bishop turned the ace-high straight, drawing dead.
So I checked.
Let's do it again.
Bishop says 550 again.
I raised it, about a quarter of his chips, hoping that he would then go ahead and push out. Well, he just called me.
All right, river card now is a deuce of spades.
So I pushed out the million. If I'd have bet 1.5, or if I'd have shoved or something like that, I think he would have laid his cards down.
Call.
He does call with the ace-high straight, but Phillips has him beat.
This was an important hand. It gave me a number of chips, and it established me at that table. And it gave me some possibilities for later play against these people.
Just 15 players left here at the Rio. Matt Jarvis, the third of the 3 remaining Canadians to hold the chip lead here on day 8. He has almost $34 million. At table 2, Matt Affleck in 5th place with just over $17 million.
I like how Matt's playing, but if he plays a 7 deuce, I may legally disown him.
He's not going to play it. Over to John Dolan, King Jack.
Dolan, originally an online player, this year playing much more live.
The former poker dealer raises it up to $500,000. Joseph Cheong now.
Hoodies are in, huh?
No, you just got the word. Pocket 5s in the small blind.
Cheong is 24, which he says is like 90 in the online world.
He was the day 6 chip leader. He makes the call.
And we have seen how young this game has become.
So Dolan and Cheong to the flop. Queen, Jack, 4. Dolan with middle pair. That's good enough to take the lead. Cheong, first to act. He checks.
Dolan with middle pair and a good kicker.
And he checks as well. Turn card. Tray of diamonds. Dolan still best.
Looks like Cheong wants to see if his pocket 5s are good.
He's got chips. $635,000. Dolan with the jacks. Makes the call.
Dolan playing this hand passively, like he's on a draw.
River card is a king of diamonds. Dolan gets the check mark with kings up. Cheong gonna bet it again, though, it looks like. $1,125,000.
That small wager is just crying for a call. Cheong maybe bluffing with a value bet.
Call. Yeah, pocket 5s.
Pocket 5s will come up short to Dolan's kings and jacks.
Dolan played it safe. Cheong could have picked up a flush draw on the turn, bet it, and then hit the diamond on the river.
Cheong's buddies don't like it that their guy sent over $2 million to John Dolan, who now sits with nearly 11 million chips after starting this day 8 with only 2.1. Back to the featured table again. Matt Jarvis has more than doubled his stack here on day 8, holds the chip lead with around 33 million. 15 players remain.
Grinder can only dream of 33 million. He's sitting on 2.7.
Lines are up to 120,000 and 240. Over to Soy Wen. He'll sit this one out. Now to Michael Mizrachi. Mizrachi with an ace and an 8. And he says all in for 2.7 million.
Lily looks a bit worried.
Now to Hassan Habib. Shorter stack than Grinder with pocket kings.
I call.
And he calls all in for just over $1 million.
Grinder looks back, looking for better cards.
Ace 8.
Kings. Kings.
Grinder's gonna need to catch.
The 2 short stacks, the 2 buddies scuffling for table scraps. Hassan Habib at risk.
It's your turn, Hassan.
Hassan's wife Nancy has seen her husband become a difficult man to knock out in this main event.
Got it, but it's poker, so.
Mizrachi looking to knock out Habib, plus Grinder sorely needs chips himself.
He's got 1.5 million behind, more than that. Yeah.
Grinder can't be knocked out, but if he loses the hand, he would be a very short stack.
The bracelet winners have a nice moment, both looking for a nice flop.
So Grinder with the ace-8 against the pocket kings of Habib, who's all in. And here's the flop, and there's a king in the window. Habib hits a set.
And it's becoming grimmer and grimmer for the Grinder. This can't be happening.
Grinder needs running flush or straight cards. Turn card now is no help. Habib earns the checkmark. Grinder drawing dead, and another double up for Hassan Habib.
Yes, Hassan.
Habib still just with 11 big blinds left. Grinder down to 7 big blinds. It's very grim.
Habib hands Michael Mizrachi a devastating blow, and the long and winding journey for Grinder and family could be coming to an end. If he's going to have any chance, he really needs to live up to his nickname. 2 players left have a chance to win a bracelet event and the main event in the same year. Pascal Lefrancois won a $1,500 no-limit event this year, and Michael Mizrachi, of course, won the Poker Players Championship. Only an elite few have pulled off that rare double as we look at the tournament ticker brought to you by FullTiltPoker.net.
Chris Ferguson was the last to do it in 2000, but look at this list, Lana. Who's who of poker legends? Harrington, Unger, Brunson, Moss. Truly elite company.
I got a long way to go, buddy. Long way to go. Could be the chip leader by the end of the day.
Grinder trying to stay optimistic, commiserating with Hassan Habib.
Yeah, one double up, you're in great shape.
The short stacks trying to shore each other up spiritually. They don't need pep talks, though. They need chips.
Absolutely. Action on the chip leader.
He doesn't need chips.
He has 7-4, and he won't play. Over to Brandon Steven.
Well, he could use some chips.
He folds 9-4. Now to Soy Win.
He doesn't need chips.
And he doesn't play. Now the Grinder.
He needs chips.
And he's going to try to get some. He sees an ace and moves all in for almost $1.7 million.
Just the blinds behind Grinder, 2 friends of his.
Small blind Habib folds. Now John Racner with an 8 and a jack. Into the muck. Grinder will take it. And shows ace deuce.
I saw an ace and a no signer. Ace and a no signer.
Yeah, I know. I saw the squeeze.
I didn't know what I had.
Grinder thrilled to be taken in the blinds and antes. It actually increases his tiny chip stack by 1/3.
Cheers, Grinder. You got it. King of the short stack.
With the short stack, Grinder has voluntarily played in 3 of the last 7 hands, but has lost almost 500,000 chips in that time period. Over at table 2, it's time for the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wildcard hand.
On the wildcard hand, Lon, it seems like I'm always the short stack.
Matt Affleck does not have a short stack, but King Trey's not going to help him much, and he will fold. To John Dolan. Dolan has the Jack Link's wildcard hand.
I've got to tell you, I love beef jerky more than I love the wildcard hand.
A raise to $500,000 from Dolan.
Well, from UTG +2, I'll put Dolan on pocket 6s, 7s, or 8s.
Pocket aces for Dewey Lay.
Or pocket 9s. 6s, 7s, 8s, or 9s for Dolan.
Dewey from San Francisco just makes the call.
You know, that yawn might be a tell. Yawning and acting bored when he has pocket aces.
Filippo Condio in the small blind.
When Condio has pocket aces, I think he sings an aria.
Condio folded. In the big blind, Adam Levy lays it down.
Levy looks bored as he should with 9 deuce.
Whatever Dolan has, Norman, I'm guessing he's behind Dewey Lay's aces.
Maybe pocket 10s. 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, or 10s for Dolan.
The flop is Trey 5-7, 2 diamonds. Lay can't be too worried about that.
Maybe jacks. 6s, 7s, 8s, 9s, 10s, or jacks for Dolan.
You might be right today. Dolan bets $720,000.
Dolan with an overpair to the board or a set of 7s.
He announces raise with his pocket aces.
Lay likes it. No more yawning from the pocket aces.
$2 million.
$2 million.
That's a big raise.
Dolan now needs almost $1.3 million to make this call. Dewey's wife Jennifer with the long hair, part of his cheering section.
Call.
Dolan does make the call.
Can't believe he's calling that raise with just an overpair. Lay's curious too. Dolan could have a set of 7s or he picked up a diamond draw.
An 8 on the turn. Dolan now checks.
Well, Dolan would check there if he missed his diamond, or even with a set if he thinks Lay's going to bet again.
Lay checks as well.
Pocket aces slow down.
River card, 10 of clubs.
Dewey still seems worried by Dolan's call on the flop. If Dolan bets here, Lon, I might fold. We have not seen a river bluff from John Dolan.
Dolan has chips, 3.6.
Call.
And a quick call from Dewey Lay.
I don't think he's bluffing.
Dolan shows pocket fives for a flop set.
Lon, I'm counting that as a win for me. Don't take it away.
Dolan wins the Jack Links Beef Jerky wildcard hand, cracking Dewey Lay's aces.
I love the wild card hand, Lon. You got some beef jerky in a cigar?
Tough break for Dewey Lay. He gives up over half his stack to John Dolan, who jumps into 6th place with over $17 million. His sights are set squarely on November. Welcome back to a very boisterous Rio poker room.
Boy, the main event feels more like Survivor Special Mizrachi's edition. They're everywhere.
Grinder, you have anybody here rooting for you? I don't want to.
Probably your family's rooting for me.
Hell, I am. Yeah. Whoever busts you probably won't be able to leave.
It's like South Beach over there.
I'm not going to bust them. I don't want to bust them.
Grinder in danger of going busto. Right now, he's the shortest stack in the room. Let's take a look at the chip standings. Matt Jarvis with a very slim lead over Jonathan Duhamel, both of them way ahead of the remaining top 9. And then there's a big drop-off in stacks after Pascal Lefrancois in 10th place with $14.7 million. Any of those bottom 5 could be gone, though, in a heartbeat. All right, action at this featured table on Brandon Steven on the Jack Links Beef Jerky pocket cam. 8-5. He'll not play. Soy Wen now in 9th place. 8-7 off suit.
Yeah, and if this were a horse race, Soy would want it to stop now. 9th place is good enough for the November 9.
Absolutely. He's going to raise it up to 525.
Soy might fall out of the race if he's raising with those cards.
Mizrachi with King Queen.
Grinder with less than 10 big blinds left.
I'm all in.
And they're all in the middle now. Mizrachi all in for $2.2 million.
The clock is ticking and the grinder is pushing.
Habib now lays it down. And now Sentai in the big blind. Queen 10 of diamonds. And he folds.
Well, it's for 12% of Wynn's stack. If he saw Grinder's King Queen, I think he'd gamble. Wins a 2-to-1 dog, and he's getting 2-to-1 on the pot.
So he lays it down, and Grinder picks up 1 million new chips.
Grinder happy to be taking in chips with wins raised, the blinds and the antes. His stack went up 50%.
How do you get a fold there? I have no idea.
Jarvis implying wins got a call there.
I'm sure you had a big hand. I'm sure you had a really big hand there, but...
Me? I had a big hand.
I'm sure it was a pretty big hand.
Decent.
Had to have been. At least reasonable, right?
Well, Soy Wen thought he was beat, and why give Grinder a courtesy double up, I guess. Back over to the 8 players at table 2 now. Jonathan Duhamel looks down at pocket jacks.
Duhamel craves action, and he says when you're bored, you raise a lot more. Well, here he's got a hand to raise with.
And he is going to raise it, $575,000. Now to Matt Affleck with pocket aces.
Hello, pocket aces. You go, Matt.
I think if he makes the final table, he might wear a Seattle Mariners tuxedo, Norman. And Matt on the button with a re-raise to $1,550,000. Small blind folds over to Dewey Lay in the big blind. And Dewey folds. So now back to Duhamel.
With tricky pocket jacks.
Raise.
And he says re-raise himself to just over $3.9 million.
Duhamel's interest is peaked. And Affleck could 5-bet it here, even go all in.
Matt Affleck with 2 aces against the pocket jacks of Duhamel. And Matt just with the call.
Well, Affleck is out-chipped by Duhamel, and he'd like to get as many of those chips as possible. 2
of the top 5 stacks see a flop of 10-9-7. Affleck still good with his aces. Duhamel picks up a gut shot. And he checks. Affleck.
Matt moves deliberately, but decisively.
With the aces. And Duhamel, a very interested observer. That's $5 million from Matt.
Affleck hoping Duhamel has a big pocket pair because he'll get at least 5 million more chips here.
And that's Buddies looking a little nervous on the sidelines.
Duhamel's gonna call. And you know, if those chips fall over, someone's gotta yell Jenga.
Well, he does make the call. Over 18 million in the middle.
Big pot now, and we could have a big change in the pecking order.
Turn card is a queen of diamonds. Duhamel now with an up and down straight draw. Matt's ace is still good, though.
Yeah, that card line gives Duhamel more outs if he thinks he's up against a big pair or a set.
Duhamel checks again.
Affleck in his familiar pose.
He says all in for 11.6 million. So now back to Duhamel with the jacks and the up and down straight draw.
A huge decision for Duhamel. He's not getting the right price to call, and he'd be left with just over 8 million chips if he loses. He's got to believe Matt wouldn't push here with anything less than aces, kings, or a set, no?
Duhamel thinking very seriously about this. And makes the call.
Tens and nines.
Kings, right?
I'm shocked by the call line. Look at the pot. Affleck on the brink of becoming the huge chip leader. Duhamel, if he gets lucky, would be an overwhelming chip leader.
So Affleck way ahead, one card away from putting a huge hurt on Duhamel. Everyone on pins and needles here at the Rio. This will be the biggest river card of the tournament.
Yeah, a defining moment here late at this main event, Lon. Jonathan Duhamel just wants to disappear inside that hood if he could. Matt Affleck is going to have 41 million chips or no chips. He needs to dodge a king, jack, or 8.
The river card. Oh, it's an 8! A crushing blow to Matt Affleck. Duhamel hit his card and eliminates young Matt Affleck.
He's got to be heartbroken.
Affleck thunderstruck.
Last year, the blow-up, and he finished 80th. This year, the bad beat, and he finishes 15th.
Affleck so close to the prize. He had overcome some earlier setbacks only to fight back and become a major factor again, but now he's gone.
In back-to-back years, he comes so far, gets so close, and leaves so crushed.
He was one card from all but locking up a seat at the final table, but now Matt Affleck's main event dream is shattered. All his chips go to Duhamel, who now has over 50 million.
It's as if he's in shock. It's as if he can't leave.
Matt Affleck will try once again to deal with the realization of a dream gone amiss, and gets a well-deserved round of applause from the crowd here in the Rio Poker Room as he finally makes his way to the exit. One man's bounty is another man's demise.
A delayed, understandable outburst from Matt.
Matt Affleck knocked out in stunning fashion yet again. Welcome back, 15th place finisher Matt Affleck, still trying to compose himself in the Rio hallway.
He told us he wanted to win the main event more than anyone in the room. It's just an awful, heart-wrenching moment for him, and you never know if you'll ever get this close again.
Meanwhile, Jonathan Duhamel has to be over the moon right now. He's got more than 50 million chips with just 5 eliminations to go to get us to the final table. And Matt has come back in the room to say his goodbyes.
Now, what a gesture here from Matt Affleck. In the wake of that brutal bust-out, he felt he did not leave the stage in the proper manner, so he comes back and does the right thing.
Matt fought back from a near crippling blow earlier in the main event to once again be a player, but like more than 7,300 before him, he'll have to patiently wait for another opportunity.
Hey, you're good. Good luck.
Again. Bad job, man.
A lot of maturity from the 23-year-old. Matt, you played your heart out and you've done us proud.
And with his exit, just 14 players remain in the race to November. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. Jonathan Duhamel with nearly 20 million chips more than second place Matt Jarvis. Jarvis has a 10 million chip lead over John Reisner in third. Mizrachi and Habib have been the short stacks all day. Once again, though, Habib the shortest.
You know, I believe Hassan Habib started the main event with less than 20 big blinds. It's remarkable how long he has played with virtually no chips.
At this feature table, folded over to Habib. Ace-9.
All in.
And he says all in for his last 1.8 million.
Come on, Hassan!
right, so does somebody want to challenge Hassan Habib? Over to John Raisner. With a king of clubs and an ace of clubs.
How much is it?
It's not even 10% of Raisner's stack.
1.8.
I call.
He does make the call to put Habib at risk.
You said something?
He said he called.
Oh, he did?
Okay. He called?
Call.
I did not hear that at all.
I heard it, and if I heard it, it stands.
So Habib at risk. Does anybody else want to enter into the fray? Brandon Stephen with ace-queen.
Boy, that's a pretty good hand in the small blind. And Raisner just called the all-in. He could trap a hand like ace-queen here.
Habib awaiting his fate.
I'm going to fold.
Oh, Stephen folds the ace-queen.
That's a solid fold from the amateur.
Now to Soy Win in the big blind. Queen 8. And he lays it down.
You got an ace? You got me beat then, yeah.
Yep, Raisner has Habib dominated and at risk.
Ace-9 against ace-king.
Habib made the main event final table in 2000. He'll have to get lucky here to keep his hopes of another main event final table alive.
Raisner's supporters want a quick end to the hand.
As always, Raisner working the gum. Habib looking for a lifeline.
The well-liked and respected Hassan Habib trying to hang on a little longer. Here's the flop. It is 10-9. Trey Habib takes the lead with a pair of nines. With those clubs, Raisner picked up the nut flush draw.
Well, those 48-year-old legs still have some kick in them. Habib inches ahead and has to fade 2 cards and a lot of outs from John Raisner.
Turn card now is a 10 that pairs the board, giving Raisner an added out.
Come on. And you know, even if Habib doubles up, he'll still have only 17 big blinds. Raisner looking for an ace, king, or any club to knock out Hassan Habib.
The river card is the ace! And the man they call Spiky spikes the winner and eliminates Hassan Habib.
We just saw 2 extraordinary main event performers this year go out. Matt Affleck and now Hassan Habib. Both took different paths to this point. Both have a lot to be proud of.
A well-earned $500,000 for Hassan as John Raisner welcomes those chips into his stack as Habib says his goodbyes.
Take him down, bro.
Well, this is it. Just 2 tables and 13 players remain. 4 eliminations, and we'll have our November 9. There is an anxious electricity inside the Rio. All the remaining 13 players are on the hot seat, but after knocking out Matt Affleck, Jonathan Duhamel at table 2 is in the most comfortable position with a commanding chip lead.
On the other end of the spectrum is Michael Mizrachi at the feature table. His march towards history continues, but just barely, as the grinder holds the shortest stack in the room.
All right, this last stretch towards our final table about to resume. The players on pins and needles all hoping to survive and take their shot at poker's world title.
Take those glasses off, guys.
Amen. This isn't spring break. This is day 8 of the main event.
It's only a tournament, no big deal.
There's another guilty party.
What if I go like this?
Oh, that's how I should play.
Might do that.
It's a good look for you.
The jousting never stops. All right, let's take a look at our leaderboard. Jonathan Duhamel on top with nearly double John Raisner's $26 million. Kun Soy Win with almost $13.6 million, the last of our virtual November 9. The bottom 4 all looking to hang on with less than $5 million. The next player out will walk away with just over $500,000, while the other 3 players who fall short of the final table will get $635,000. A lot riding on this next elimination.
And Lon, we are already guaranteed our youngest main event final table ever. Only 2 players left here over the age of 30, amateurs Brandon Stephen and Soy Win.
Stephen from Wichita, Kansas is 36 years old. Win from Santa Ana, California, 37 years old. Action on Michael the Grinder Mizrachi from Miramar, Florida on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Pocket Chem Pocket Kings.
Grinder will turn 30 in January 2011. He's the 3rd oldest player left.
In the small blind, there's his wife, Lily, smiling. She looks relaxed with Michael as a short stack.
Well, Grinder's happy he's got Pocket Kings, but he has only 1 potential customer behind him in the big blind.
A raise to $500,000 from Grinder. Raisner in the big blind with King Jack offsuit.
Raisner trying to chew his way to the World Championship.
And for $260 more, he makes the call. So the 2 friends, Raisner and Mizrachi, are heads up.
Would it kill these guys to shave?
Here's the flop. 9, Queen, Jack, Mizrachi's pocket king still ahead. Racner with a pair of jacks, the same gut shot for each player.
Yeah, that flop hit Racner good, so Grinder should have a chance to double up here.
Mizrachi checks his kings.
All in. I call.
Racner raises Mizrachi all in, and he calls with the best hand. Mizrachi with his kings in great shape to double up.
Grinder nursing the short stack, hoping to get a little healthier at his friend's expense. I hope Lily Mizrachi takes a really good antacid every night.
Boy, she and the brothers Mizrachi all now watching anxiously for this turn card.
Mizrachi hoping to extend the year of the Grinder, Racner hoping to end it.
Turn card is another 9. Mizrachi 1 card from a critically needed double up.
We still could have a chopped pot. If a 10 comes on the river, they both make a straight.
Go spotter! Go spotter!
Only a river jack knocks out Michael Mizrachi.
The river card's a queen, and king's up for the Grinder, and he'll survive.
I can't take it anymore.
Grinder now with 4.4 million chips as Racner keeps Grinder alive.
No, Grinder still doesn't have 20 big blinds, though.
I was definitely wrong about Lily not feeling the pressure of this table right now. So the Grinder knows when to take his shot. His reads have been good. He's been patient, meaning the tale of the Mizrachi main event has not ended yet.
Norman, the 2010 World Series of Poker began with an improbable bang. 2 Mizrachi brothers at the $50K final table. Of course, Michael knocked out Robert on his way to victory, then led the Mizrachi band of brothers in the main event, a journey that still continues for the Grinder.
Lon, Grinder's journey is mind-boggling. And when I say mind-boggling, I mean it boggles the mind. He started this World Series by winning the Players' Championship, and now he's trying to end it by winning the World Championship. Frankly, what he's doing has gone from incredible to unbelievable to implausible to unthinkable to incomprehensible to unimaginable to absolutely positively inconceivable. If he does win it all, I think my head will explode.
And with the victory, Grinder would earn the added bonus of sharing Player of the Year honors with Frank Casella, who is in attendance tonight.
Casella 2 bracelets, 3 final tables, and 6 cashes this year, but Grinder won't let him celebrate anything yet.
Let's go to table 2. The short stacks over there. Adam Levy with $4.5 million and Dewey Lay with just over $4 million, hoping for their own double-up opportunity. Pascal Lefrancois is first to act there, and he's going to lay it down. Joseph Cheong now from San Diego. Lays down, as does Filippo Condio, now Levy. 10 of hearts, 6 of hearts. The man known as Ruthless will sit this one out.
Everybody at this table a 20-something.
Duhamel folded over to John Dolan. Dolan with a king and 6 of diamonds.
Dolan sits in the middle of the chip pack.
Come on, give me a walk, bro.
Dewey in the big blind.
I'm all in.
No walk. A raise to put Dewey Lay all in. Lay looks down at Ace Queen.
Call.
And he calls all in. So Dewey Lay at risk. His wife Jennifer in the middle there, very anxiously watching on.
Adam Levy, an interested bystander.
I know you're sweating this too.
There is a pay jump after the next elimination.
You're a nice guy and all, but 150K is a nice chunk.
It's a $100,000 hand.
Yeah.
Adam Levy looking for a pay bump. John Dolan looking for a knockout. Dewey Lay looking to survive.
All right, here's the flop. It is King 4, Jack Dolan with top pair, Lay with a Broadway draw.
10. The San Francisco Pro has outs, but he's seeing his main event life flash in front of him.
Dewey Lay looking for help. Turn card does not bring it.
And Dewey Lay down to 6 outs. He needs an ace or a 10, or it's over.
The river card's another 5. Dolan with kings up takes the hand. Dewey Lay gone in 13th place.
Dewey Lay's second World Series cash is a big one.
$500,000 for Dewey Lay and a well-deserved congratulations from his family and supporters. And Adam Levy, along with everyone else, has to like the pay raise now. And how about John Dolan, who started day 8 with just about 1.2 million chips? He moves up to 4th place with that knockout victory. We are down to 12, just 3 eliminations away from the final table. Now it's time for Deal Me In, brought to you by FullTiltPoker.net. Once you make it to a final table, it's imperative to play optimal poker. Going heads up against Mike Sexton, Andy Block held the better hand until the river brought a tough decision. A queen, and that gives Sexton his straight with the same card that gives Block queens up.
I think a lot of players make a mistake in that spot. A lot of beginning players will look at that and say, oh, I just improved my hand. I've got top 2 pair. And I decided to make a a small value bet because I think I get more information from Mike by making the bet.
Sexton raises with the stone cold nuts.
I really just felt like I was beat.
Where you get King Jack?
Has he convinced himself he's got the king jack? How could he?
He could have been bluffing me, but I just thought that the possibility that he was bluffing was less than the pot odds I was getting.
Okay, Mike.
And he gives it up.
It's a bluff. Very good bluff. You can't lose focus when you're at these big final tables. You can't let all the chips in the middle of the pot fool you into thinking you have a better hand than you actually have.
Back inside the Rio, there is the bracelet. Our remaining 12 are playing for, but there's a lot more on the line. Taking a look at the money at stake, no more raises before the final table. The next three out earn over $600,000. Players finishing 8th or better will take home over $1 million. And of course, along with the title comes nearly $9 million.
Now it's like you gotta make the final table now. That's all. No more jumps anymore, right? Till the final table, right? You know what I'm doing, right, guys? I'm gambling.
At this point, the November 9 is so close, players would crawl across the Rio parking lot to get there.
And these are 30,000. The blinds remain at 120 and 240,000. Mizrachi looks down at 4-5 off. Lays it down. John Raisner now. One of the big stacks in the room. 9-8 of clubs.
I can't believe John Raisner may get there chewing the same piece of gum for 8 days.
Whatever works. A raise to 540,000 to Matt Jarvis from Western Canada with Ace-King.
25 years old.
And a re-raise to $1,450,000.
Play changes this close to the final table. Some play scared, others play that to their advantage.
A lot of folds behind that re-raise. Now back to Raisner.
Raisner not shying away here.
9-8 of clubs. He makes the call for over 900,000 more.
Chew, baby, chew.
Here's the flop. It is 5 Jack Deuce 2 clubs. Raisner favored with his flush draw now, and he checks. Jarvis has the best hand with ace high, and he checks.
Neither player steps out.
Turn card is a 10. Jarvis with a gut shot straight draw. Raisner has an up and down straight draw. A queen, though, would give Jarvis a higher straight. Raisner betting $1,800,000.
I still believe his chewing slows down or stops when he doesn't have a hand.
Raisner's buddies looking on. Jarvis, with his ace high, the best hand, makes the call.
Jarvis not letting go, seeing Raisner is weak, and his chewing has sped up a bit, so I'm probably wrong again.
Turn card, another jack. Jarvis earns the check mark with his ace. Raisner first to act. He's going to bet at $3.7 million.
Wow. 3.7.
I'd go wow, too. See, no chewing.
God, I just don't think he'd bet this much. We're trying to value bet.
Raisner stopped chewing. He didn't bet the flop, so Jarvis can't figure he's got a jack in his hand. It's possible Raisner had a small pocket pair and slow played a baby set on the flop.
Jarvis lays down the hand.
Hey, that's how you play the game.
Jarvis thought something was up, but couldn't call.
No fear. Raisner's here.
Such a tough moment for Jarvis. With just ace high, he had to lay it down to the pressure of John Raisner. Over at table 2, we have a player at risk pre-flop. Chip leader Jonathan Duhamel holds pocket aces and perhaps Adam Levy's ticket home. Levy looking for help with his king-queen off.
King-queen off. This is Levy's second very deep main event run in 3 years, and he doesn't want to see it end.
So the man more famously known as Ruthless Online at risk against Jonathan Duhamel, our chip leader. Here's the flop. 10-6 tray, and not much there for Adam.
Jack of hearts. Jack of hearts.
Levy trying to rally the troops, but that's a pretty dry flop for him.
Turn card now is a king that puts a little wind in Levy's sails.
Yeah, that is one small step. But Adam Levy needs another big step to stay alive. Only a king or a queen will keep him around.
The river card is a deuce, and the pocket aces of Duhamel hold up, and all the air goes out of Levy's contingent.
Good game. Good luck, everyone.
Levy 48th in 2008, 12th this year. Those are impressive numbers.
And he does earn his $635,000. Jonathan Duhamel with another big knockout. He has been a runaway train here on day 8, and his pocket aces have reduced this field to the final 11. Back inside the Rio, Robert Donnie and Eric Mizrachi still looking on as their brother Michael continues his quest of the final table. Their family has been the story of this main event, But over 8 great days of play, there's been a whole lot more. And as we take a look back, we do our best to get it all in.
This was the second largest main event field ever.
Yeah! We're all here because we want one of these.
Ready to rock, guys. Ready to roll.
It's all or nothing, baby. It's never ever maybe. You think I might be crazy, but I gotta be all in.
This would be a good entrance to someone who would knock him out right now.
Come on!
Come on.
Doyle Brunson knocked out. And then Oberstadt's highly anticipated main event debut is over.
The boat down the river with the rest of the blank. It's a berry patch to be exact. Hey, thanks.
For Lon in the eye of the storm again, I think he should be out of here.
I'm gonna deliver your rap down this spell, cause the hand got been dealt. It makes me wanna yell.
Yes! Yes, sir! Yes, sir!
My God.
Bill Ivy now is crippled.
One time, cuz.
No te vayas de aquí.
Crazy.
It is over for the youngest champ ever.
Johnny Chan keeps a rolling here at the main event.
We're in the money. 4 Mizrachi brothers in the money, a statistical improbability.
No! I gotta be all in.
Pleasure doing business with y'all.
Need to work on the poker face.
I gotta be all in.
1 million. Are you crazy?
Good play. It's all or nothing, baby. It's never ever maybe. You think I might be crazy, but I gotta be all in.
Hopes for a third main event title are gone.
What were you thinking?
It's all or nothing. Gotta be
Affleck thunderstruck.
Good luck, everyone.
Welcome to the game, guys.
Ciao, ESPN.
7,318 all-ins will lead to one player capturing that bracelet. 15th place finisher Matt Affleck is back in the house. He knows all too well the sting of the failed all-in. So far, it's been music to the ears of chip leader Jonathan Duhamel. Time now for the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wildcard hand.
I'm all in, Lon. I may as well go all in blind.
I wouldn't mind seeing a montage of your incorrect wildcard guesses.
Good for you.
Filippo Candio with ace trays suited.
He was very active earlier in the main event, not as active lately.
From the small blind, he raises to 560,000. Jonathan Duhamel in the big blind with the wild card hand.
This guy would play a hand while waiting in the doctor's office for colonoscopy results.
He is the chip leader. And he wants to play, apparently. He does make the call.
Well, I'm going to put him on the same hand with which he crippled Rob Pisano from the blind, 5-4.
5-4 against Filippo Candio's ace tray. All right, here's the flop. Heads up. 4, Queen, Jack, Rainbow. Candio misses.
Filippo trying to become the first Italian-born player to make the main event final table.
Candio first to act with ace high. He's going to bet it $1,350,000.
In Italian, that is called una continuazione scommessa.
Continuation donation?
You got it.
Duhamel with the call.
Duhamel might have hit bottom pair. Remember, I had him on 5-4.
It's a king on the turn. Candio picks up a Broadway draw.
What is squadouche in Italian?
Squadouche?
Very good.
Candio checks.
I think Duhamel might pounce here.
Duhamel. No pounce.
I actually think Duhamel would have bet a pair of 4s there, so as usual, I'm going to the river holding an empty picnic basket.
River card is a 10 of diamonds. Candio hits Broadway. That's a third diamond on board also.
Candio gets lucky. I don't think Duhamel got lucky unless he's holding an ace-2 or happens to have diamonds.
Candio checks his straight.
I'm surprised he checked there. Nut straight should be good.
Duhamel now bets it. $3,675,000.
Maybe Duhamel also has the ace. They both could have the same hand. Filippo's got to call. Heck, I'd raise.
Call.
He does call.
Flush.
Duhamel says flush. He shows the nut flush to win the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand.
Flush! Of course I never put him on diamonds. That's why I should just go all in blind.
So Duhamel takes the pot. Candio lost some chips there, but his rivered straight could have been much more expensive to him than it was. On the PokerStars.net chip count, Candio down to 9th with $12.5 million. Duhamel climbs closer to $60 million. Our bottom 2 on the leaderboard are Michael Mizrachi with $4.6 million and Brandon Steven with $3.9.
Mizrachi and Steven each has less than 20 big blinds left. Each still could make the November 9. There's just very little room for error at this point.
Action at this featured table on Brandon Steven. Jack 4, offsuit.
Rags.
They're in the muck. Soy Win, an amateur with 13.7 million chips. 7-6 of spades.
At dinner last night with his friend Nam Lee, Nam told Soy he'd give up all his poker accomplishments just for a shot at the main event final table. Soy says that's when it really sunk in how big this is.
It is that important. A raise to 525 from Soy Win. Mizrachi with ace-jack of spades.
And speaking of how big this is, Michael Mizrachi trying to rewrite poker history, but all he's thinking about right now is, I need chips.
He has just over 4.5 million now, and over $500,000 go in the pot for the call. Racner folds his button. Jarvis in the small blind. Lays down. Jason Sentai in the big blind. We'll sit this one out. So heads up, Mizrachi and Soy Win.
The grinder and the amateur.
All right, here's the flop. It is 8-9 ace. Mizrachi hits top pair. Soy Win with an up and down straight draw.
Soy Win was just hoping to cash at this main event.
He bet 700,000 on the draw. Mizrachi now. Top pair and a good kicker. And he says that's worth just over $2 million.
Grinder's not raising at this point unless he's dead certain he has the best hand.
Call. Soy Win makes that call.
I'm telling you, there is stomach tissue inside of Lily Mizrachi that might not make it to the November 9.
Michael with over half his stack in the middle already. Turn card 7 of hearts, third heart on board. That also paired Soy Win. Win checks this time.
And Lily Mizrachi in a torture chamber on the rail.
Action to her husband.
1 million.
That's about half of Grinder's stack.
Yeah, Grinder committed to this hand now. He's only got $1 million behind. And Soy Win now getting almost 7-1 on a call here, so he's got a call.
Soy Win, the amateur, lays it down.
Really?
Grinder gets some chips.
The Win seems befuddled by Grinder. That fold baffles me, and Grinder feels like a billionaire now with 32 big blinds.
And he's got some momentum. Perhaps he can carry the whole family to the final table. Say hello to the November 9. What will be this year's world champion?
Quite a long way from Fremont Street in the old days at the Horseshoe.
The roar says it all.
This is a dream come true.
The excitement of being part of the November 9 awaits all but 2 of our remaining players. Looking at the chip count, 5 players currently above the chip average, while Pascal Lefrancois holds the 9th spot with under 12 million. Still on the outside looking in are Brandon Steven holding fewer than 10 big blinds, and the Grinder who now has 7.7 million chips. Short stacks have to worry a little more now with the blinds up to 150 and 300,000. Grinder with 8 deuce. And he'll fold. With one more elimination, the final 10 players will combine to a single table to play down to 9. Jason Sentai now on the button. King 10 offsuit.
Online whiz Phil Galfond once was Jason's coach. Now they're good friends.
And he makes a raise to 700,000 to short stack Brandon Steven in the small blind with ace king.
Steven says giving in is not in his vocabulary.
This is it. I'm all in.
And he is all in for his last $2.5 million.
Steven does not give in here. He's all in here, and he should be.
Obviously, I call with all the cards, right?
Jason Sentai puts Steven at risk. And Steven in good shape.
Really?
Ace king.
Jason makes the call.
Wow, found a good time for a hand, dude.
Sentai called with about 13% of his stack. Steven all in with just 8 big blinds left.
Brandon Stevens' family hoping his remarkable main event will continue.
Either way, man.
Either way, brother.
Either way, it's been fun playing.
Either way, you're going to still be here.
Let's see the flop.
That's true.
All right, Steven at risk. Here is the flop. It is Queen 5-8. That's a good one for Brandon Steven.
Well, it looks like Brandon Steven is still going to be here. Jason Sentai looks like he wants to be someplace else.
Pair of aces for Steven, but that does not end it. Sentai with a Broadway draw.
Jack ball.
A jack would give Sentai an ace-high straight.
If the jack comes, the jack comes. I mean, it was supposed to come then.
Only a jack knocks out Steven.
River card is a 6, and Steven will double up and stick around.
Steven and his family very happy. Every other player goes, darn.
Nice hand, man. Nice hand.
With that nice hand, Brandon Steven up to 5.6 million.
5.
Boy, that table over there is PO that I didn't get beat.
This table here's a little PO ourselves.
With Brandon's double up, we do remain at 11 players and 2 tables. Speaking of table 2, let's get back over there to those 5 players, which includes the man who has become a black hole for opponents' chips. It is top dog Jonathan Duhamel with ace-queen.
The youngest player left at 22, and he could sleepwalk into the November 9 if he now desires.
From under the gun, he raises to $750,000.
Duhamel has about 1/4 of the chips in play with 11 players left.
Folded to the button, Pascal Lefrancois, queen, jack of spades.
He is friends with Duhamel. They both love playing hockey.
Why not? It's the Canadian pastime. He makes the call for $750. Over to Joseph Cheong in the small blind. He has pocket kings.
Cheong doesn't play hockey. He just plays kings.
And a re-raise to over $2.5 million. Condio in the big blind lays it down. So back to Duhamel with ace-queen, now into the muck.
I like that fold. Ace-queen is trouble.
Lefrancois with queen-jack of spades.
Lefrancois won his first bracelet this year. It was worth $568,000.
All in.
All in.
Call.
And a call from the kings of Joseph Cheong. And suddenly Lefrancois, who was the chip leader earlier today, is at risk.
Well, Lefrancois has played really well, but he got impatient there with more than 30 big blinds left, and now he is in dire straits.
Joseph Cheong primed to pick up a huge pot here. The flop, 6 jack deuce. Lefrancois with a glimmer of hope pairing his jack.
Cheong way ahead, and he will catapult himself to second in chips if he knocks out Lefrancois here.
And there's a king, and that brings an end to the hand and the main event for amateur Pascal Lefrancois, gone in 11th place.
What a disappointing end to a great year for the Canadian student.
Lefrancois probably angry at himself. He didn't have to go out on queen jack suited.
And for the moment, Cheong forgetting that ridiculous beat Filippo Candio put on him earlier here on day 8.
So Cheong with another knockout to his credit, bringing his second place stack to over $37 million. Lefrancois makes his exit clearly frustrated.
The other door was open.
Word has reached the featured table of his elimination. Now the final 10 players will combine at a single table. The November 9 beckons. Who will answer the call? Who will be left out in the cold? Back inside the Rio, 10 remaining players have taken their seats, and while excitement and anticipation surround them, a sense of nervousness and apprehension permeates our one remaining table. They know 9 will be playing in November, but who is to be left behind is anyone's guess.
It's gonna be fun, unless you're Lily Mizrachi.
What a range of stacks on this leaderboard. Joseph Cheong's knockout of Lefrancois propels him to over $37 million. The shortest of short stacks is Brandon Stephen, who continues to barely hang on.
Brandon Stephen with virtually no wiggle room.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck, everybody.
Brandon Stephen, the man with the biggest target on his back right now, as the short stack.
This is essentially the biggest bubble in poker. There's nothing equal to the November 9. There's nothing worse than being left out in 10th.
Filippo Candio folds. Soy Win says no thanks. Folded over to Joseph Cheong. A lot of folds. Duhamel now, the top stack. Queen 8 on the button.
He says when he's bored, he raises. He looked bored.
And he's gonna raise $750. Brandon Stephen now, the short stack. Queen, jack of clubs.
The clock ticking on Stephen. He started the hand with $2.6 million, with the blinds at $150 and $300,000.
And he's gonna call for $600,000 more. Mizrachi in the big blind with ace 8 of spades.
The second short stack, but in much better shape than Brandon Stephen.
Mizrachi calls. He'll see a flop with a short stack and the big stack. Here's the flop, and there's a jack for Brandon Stephen. And he moves all in for his last $1.8 million.
A no-brainer for Brandon.
Now Mizrachi with a pair of 8s.
Stephen with no choice there. Mizrachi's got a choice, though. In a tough spot here, he's got Duhamel behind him. He's sitting with middle pair top kicker and getting the right pot odds.
I call.
And he does make the call.
You call? Thank you.
Duhamel also with a pair of 8s.
Thank you.
Yeah, Duhamel might have called if Grinder didn't.
And Duhamel folds, and Grinder will have to come from behind to knock out Brandon Stephen and get us to our final 9.
Stephen trying to double up again and keep his November 9 hopes alive.
Mizrachi used about 20% of his stack for that call. His family knows he's in bad shape.
Grinder almost a 4-1 underdog. Steven trying to avoid bad luck.
Turn card. Another 6. Steven with jacks up. He's still in control.
Michael Mizrachi needs an ace or an 8 to set our November 9.
The river card is a king, and Steven doubles up to almost $6.4 million. We're still at 10.
Steven pumps that fist. One happy man.
I ain't going nowhere now.
1 out of our 10 players is happy. 1 wife is unhappy.
Grinder took his shot and missed. Oh well. With Brandon's double up to over $6 million, some of the other shorter stacks could be damaged should he now double through them. Everyone here at this table needs to be on guard.
If you fall short, you fall short. But if you make a mistake at this point and fall short, Lon, I think it stays with you for a long, long time.
John Reisner lays it down. Condio and Soy Win will not play.
This group is tired, but all but one of them will be tired happy very soon.
So many hours of play have led these 10 to this precipice. So many emotions running through each of them. Brandon Steven on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Pocket Cam folds a deuce that we saw. So the short stack's safe for at least another hand. Over to Michael Mizrachi on the button. Michael looks down at ace 10.
Grinder's been on a short stack for a good while.
Michael has chips in hand. He's going to raise it up to almost 3 times the big blind, $850,000.
I do not want to be in Grinder's shoes if he misses the November 9.
Over to Matt Jarvis in the big blind, 8-5 of clubs.
Jarvis has taken his jacket off and decided to stay a while.
He is comfortable and also has about $17 million. He makes the call for $550 more. We'll see a flop with Mizrachi.
Battle of the blinds.
Flop 9, Queen 7. Mizrachi best with ace high. Jarvis favored with flush and straight draws. Grinder checks.
For Jarvis, flush draw, straight draw, position, and the bigger stack.
And he checks.
Wow, I might have bet.
Turn card, another queen. Mizrachi still best.
$1 million.
And bets almost half the pot.
Grinder takes a stab. We've seen him do this a lot on the turn, but usually when he picks up a draw.
Jarvis, a 3-2 dog, getting 3-1, makes the call.
He's right to call there, but I imagine he could have ended the hand by raising.
The river is a 10. That pairs Mizrachi. Jarvis missed his draws, so Mizrachi with a check mark. Grinder checks.
Here comes Matt Jarvis.
Jarvis looks like he's going to put Grinder to another test. He bets $1.9 million.
Jarvis has played this hand oddly. Passive to the river, and now he takes a stab at it.
I call.
Mizrachi makes the call at the critical juncture, and what a call it is!
That is a terrific call from Michael Mizrachi. Chips he sorely needs, and his wife doesn't leave him.
So many fans rooting for Grinder, but nobody at this table wants to see him with more chips. 10 players still remain in the hunt for poker's biggest prize. Jordan Smith gone at 10th place. It's the worst place in poker.
Disappointment for him, but elation for our final 9.
For Phil Ivey in 2003, it was a moment to forget in an otherwise memorable career.
An incredible knockout blow.
For others, it's an elimination that can haunt them forever.
Dean Hamrick finishes in 10th place.
Better than thousands, but worse than 9. No one wants to finish 10th. Back inside the Rio, action about to get underway at this table. Each competitor hoping they'll have a seat in November, but they know one will be frozen out.
You know, if Jason Sentai would take his shades off, I think we'd enjoy each other's company. Well, he wouldn't enjoy mine, but I would enjoy his.
Fold it over to Joseph Cheong. 7-6 of hearts.
I don't think I could talk Joseph Cheong out of the shades or the hoodie.
Blinds are up to 200 and 400,000. He makes a raise to 950. John Dolan with ace king.
And John Dolan seems committed to his hoodie.
Dolan makes a re-raise to over $2.5 million.
Definitely committed to ace king.
Brandon Steven, the short stack, with ace jack. And he lays it down.
In this group of 10, we have 2 left from Canada, 2 from California, and 3 from Florida. Who knew?
Filippo Candio trying to become the first main event champ from Italy. He folds, as does Soy Win, so action back to Cheong. And Cheong re-pops it to almost $6 million.
Cheong has just 4-bet it from out of position with 7-6 suited. He's playing big stack, big bubble poker. And if I'm John Dolan, I've got to wonder if I've run into aces or kings.
I'm all in.
Now Dolan re-raises Cheong all in.
Dolan bullies back, and it's time for Cheong to cut his losses at $6 million for this hand.
And the 7-6 of hearts go into the muck, and Dolan takes the pot.
Right move by Dolan. And Joseph Cheong just took my breath away there, Lon. Great idea, wrong time.
Nice all-in. That was scary as I won't lie.
Overcoming your fears without showing it is a key to success in poker, especially at this point of the game. So Dolan overcomes his fears there, and it paid off. He's now in second place on the leaderboard with almost $35 million. Cheong not too far behind in third. Michael Mizrachi has jumped up to sixth place, and Brandon Stevens' stack has also grown, but he still remains at the bottom of the list. Steven with $7.6 million, trying to find a way to hang on. John Reisner looks down at 5 deuce under the gun. No thanks.
A lot of active players this table. Filippo Candio used to be one of them, but he's largely shut it down.
Soy Win with King Queen of Diamonds.
His goal was simply to be chip leader at his table every day at this main event, and he usually did it.
Nice. Soy Win with a raise to 2.5 times the big blind, 1 million chips. Jason Sentai with queens.
Early on day 1, he was down to 11,000 chips. Then on day 2, he was all in with ace-queen against ace-king, and he's still here.
And with queens and 10 players left, he makes the call for $1 million. Joseph Cheong folds. Steven now on the button with King-Jack.
I tell you, this amateur from Kansas, he's made a lot of sensible decisions. There's another one.
He does lay it down. Small blind, Michael Mizrachi. We'll sit this one out, and Jarvis folds his big blind.
Wynn says he is still learning poker. Jason Sentai is an online poker instructor.
5, Jack, 6, 2 diamonds. Sentai's pocket queens are still ahead. Wynn with a flush draw. Soy's boss and co-workers are here to support him.
1.7.
He has chips, 1.7 million with his draw.
We saw him bet his straight draw on the flop against Grinder. Here he bets his flush draw. Sentai certainly didn't mind seeing 3 undercards to his pocket queens on that board.
He called pre-flop, and he calls here after the flop.
I'm surprised Sentai didn't pop it there.
6.5 million in the middle. The turn card is a 6. That pairs the board. Sentai with queens up, still ahead.
I'm all in.
Soy with an all-in move for almost 7.5.
How much?
Bluff shoves all in.
Wow.
It's interesting. Wynn didn't push on the flop. Here with just 1 card to come, he risks his November 9 seat.
That is not an amateur play, Norman. Warning bells must be going off in Sentai's head.
This is really, though, a tough call for Jason. It's for 2/3 of his stack. If we were to call and lose the hand, Brandon Steven would no longer be the short stack. It would be Jason.
And it wouldn't hurt Mizrachi's chances to make the final table.
Show if I fold. Yeah, you're not going to say anything, right?
This is the World Series main event.
Yeah, I like that.
And this is the final table.
This is the final table.
Soy Wynn trying to execute the bluff of his life.
Well, I guess I'm going to fold.
Jason Sentai tortured. And puts the queens in the muck. Soy Wynn takes that pot.
Show something. Show diamonds. Show something silly.
Soy Wynn says he goes with his gut. What a gut.
And it gets Jason Sentai off his pocket queens.
Who knows?
So we are still at 10 players. The amateur Soy Wynn may not know the math or the terms, but he shows under the most difficult conditions he can play the game. Back at the Rio, still 1 elimination away from the November 9, and occasionally a player has to take a chance, as Soy Wynn did, bluff shoving with King Queen.
Only I know your hand.
Only you know my hand?
You don't want me to say it, right? You want me to say it or no? All right, I won't say it.
You don't know his hand.
I know. You want to bet?
No.
Oh, Jason, there's another bluff you should have called.
Sentai heading in the wrong direction after that hand with Wynn. He is now the second short stack, 1 spot above Brandon Steven, who continues to hang on with only 4.5 million. At the top of the list is Jonathan Duhamel, still our overwhelming chip leader with nearly 62 million. Action will be on Michael Mizrachi. From early position, he looks down at King Queen.
That's almost Soy Wynn's hand, but they're not suited.
With nearly 14 million in his stack, Michael raises to $1 million. Reisner now, ace king of clubs.
I hope chewing gum is not banned from the November 9.
Reisner with a re-raise to 2.6 million. Now to Condio. Filippo with aces. He can't sit by any longer. And he moves all in for almost $9 million.
It's been a while since Filippo Candio's seen a big hand.
So Candio all in. In the blue shirt, his friend and fellow Italian pro Max Pescatore is here.
Candio down to 22 big blinds.
So now back to Mizrachi. He raised from early position and gives up the million. Racner now.
I know you got queens, buddy. It's going to be a great flip. Don't worry.
Queens is a decent guess, but Candio's hand is even stronger.
You got 2 flush draws.
Racner needs over $6 million to call. He does with his ace-king. And Candio once again at risk, but this time, Norman, he's ahead.
Candio in commanding position. Racner will have to get lucky to knock him out.
Does Filippo have it in him to hold a lead? We know he can come from behind. The Brandon Steven cheering section now throwing their support behind John Racner.
There's only like 5 people in here not rooting for me, right?
Well, Filippo's got Max Pescatore and 4 others in his corner.
Here's the flop, and there's a king for Racner. Candio's still ahead with his aces.
That flop made Filippo uneasy, but the 26-year-old's still in great shape. Filippo singing softly as ever.
Will this be his last song, or will we remain at 10? Turn card is an 8, and his aces are 1 card from a double up.
Great turn card for the Italian. John Racner will need the last king in the deck to take down Filippo Candio.
The river card is a 10! Candio doubles up! And we're still 10-handed.
Filippo found the 5 people rooting for him. Racner loses 1/3 of his stack.
And with that now belonging to Filippo Candio, the Italian is up to almost 20 million chips. So after Candio's survival and double up, a lot of disappointed faces at this table. Will we ever have a November 9? A lot has happened since LeFrancois' elimination, as we see on the tail of the tape. Brought to you by the official WSOP game. Play now on Facebook. Through 94 hands of 10-handed play, John Dolan has gained the most chips, while this table has not been so kind to Joseph Cheong. Jonathan Duhamel using the big stack to his advantage, winning almost all his voluntary hands and picked up almost 17.5 million chips to boot.
Yeah, nobody wants to go out. Duhamel understands that and has been pounding the table pre-flop.
Who will be the next one to go? Who will be our November 9? More pressure on everyone. The blind's up to 250 and 500,000.
Play's been pretty snug. No one wants to be left behind for the November 9.
Action over to Jonathan Duhamel, who has been very active with his big stack. Ace Trey.
He is one of the only ones willing to open pots.
And he does it again. Over 1.2 million is his raise. Steven with Ace King.
Raise.
I'm all in. And he is all in for almost 4.5 million. Brandon Steven putting his family and friends on edge again.
Steven has been stellar on the short stack. 10 big blinds left and he finds a hand.
Matt Jarvis with pocket queens.
It looks like Steven is going to have company.
4-way all in, I see it. After all that, 4-way all in.
4,475,000.
I call.
Jarvis makes the call with the queens to put Steven at risk.
Jarvis will try to finally take out the resilient Brandon Steven.
It's folded back to Duhamel. Does he want to get involved now with Ace Trey? No, he does not.
Jarvis hoping for the final knockout of the night. If Steven wins the race, though, Jarvis will become the short stack.
Brandon Steven at risk. Amateur Soy Win on the verge of being part of poker history. The incredible Mizrachi main event stay could wind up at the final table. Danielle Jarvis hoping her brother can end the suffocating drama.
Good luck, man.
Will either be done or a new player will have a target on his back.
Brandon Steven staring at the cold possibility of being the last one left behind. All that's left now are for the cards to tell the story. 4 Trey 10, Jarvis still ahead, and Brandon Steven fearing the worst.
A clean flop for Jarvis. Steven running out of cards.
Come on, baby, come on. King of diamonds. I'm okay with that.
Turn card now. Is another 4. Jarvis with queens up. Steven 1 card from elimination.
Brandon Steven can only sit and hope.
All the crowd on their feet, and the 10 remaining players await their fate.
8 of hearts. King of diamonds.
Will the grinder be part of our November 9? Will Duhamel be there as the chip leader?
8 of hearts. 8 of hearts.
Steven needs an ace or a king, or our November 9 is set.
With the 5 on the river, Brandon Steven is eliminated. And at last, we have our November 9 class of 2010.
Hey, you played the best short stack player I think I've ever seen.
Steven hung tough as long as he could, and he leaves us with, at the moment, the 9 happiest people in America.
Incredibly, a Mizrachi will be at the final table. Tears of joy finally for Lily Mizrachi. Amateur Soy Wen will be there, and respected pro John Raster will be a force. Filippo Condio, the first Italian at the final table, where Jonathan Duhamel is the chip leader.
Finally, man.
After a grueling 8 days of poker, we have our November 9. And one will be this year's world champion. Can chip leader Jonathan Duhamel maintain his top spot on the leaderboard and take the title?
Good game.
Or will one of the other remaining young guns capture the crown? Can the combustible Filippo Condio's main event end with a championship? Or will the short stack at the table climb his way to the top of the pack? Can the ultimate amateur Soy Wen continue his unlikely ride to an improbable title?
Oh my God.
Or will it be the grinder finishing off an unprecedented World Series as world champion? As always, storylines abound, and one championship tale will soon be told. For Norman Chad, I'm Lon McCarran. We'll see you next time at the Penn and Teller Theater for the main event final table of the World Series of Poker.